Hello.
And
Welcome
to Film Bastards.
Hello and welcome to episode 475 of Film Bastards. My name is...
Isn't it?
Fuck you. 477 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by...
Matt Foster, hello everybody.
And Evil Doll correspondent.
Noel Mellor, hello.
He's been upgraded. He's been rebooted after cameo appearances in our Film Bastards on Tour shows. Noel is back for the first time in a fucking age.
I'm back, man. I thought I was out, and then M3gan dragged me back in.
Absolutely, that passive-aggressive little bitch that she is. So we are here to talk about the mighty M3gan, along with Avatar, the savior of cinema. We'll talk some trailers, I think. We'll talk some news. We'll talk some what we've been watching. Who knows what's going to happen? We may have Twitter questions. I fucked off my Twitter again, so I have no idea. Mark, did we have Twitter questions?
We do have I think at least one, maybe two.
Good. Great. Super smashing great. Okay, so patreon.com/filmbastards for nothing this week. We're taking a couple of weeks off of the Patreon before we smoke that dank bong weed. But we will be back with it soon. I also recorded a shite or sound and then decided no.
Oh, is that not going out then?
No.
Life's too short for bad movies.
Hey, Bex.
Hello.
Hey.
I have an idea that I might do for the shite or sound. An idea that I think I'm actually going to do, but I'm not going to call it shite or sound. I'm going to do it slightly different. And it's not going to be all the fucking films. It's going to be like a selection of maybe 5 or 6.
You can't fucking cherry pick.
I'm going to call the vegetable medley.
Oh, nice.
That is good. Yes, so I'm not committing to that, and I'll explain why in what we watched.
Well, I will say when I was listening, it wasn't the last episode. I think it was the episode before, and you mentioned the Bong Joon-ho marathon. And while you were talking about it, I was listening to it walking around Marple and just thinking to myself, if they don't call this hits from the bong, if they don't call this hits from the bong, if they don't. And then you said it, and I was like, oh, thank God they spotted that one. Brilliant.
Well, funnily enough, in a section of the Patreon podcast that I think I deleted because I was talking about shite or sound last week, I think we actually proposed a different title. However, I propose, Mark and Becky, that we call it Hits from the Bong.
Oh yeah, hits from the bong, yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. No, just for reference, it was going to be called Barking Bastards Never Bite.
Ah, okay. You did mention hits from the bong, though, didn't you? Or did I just sort of make that?
No,
did I just add that to
I
the podcast while I was walking around?
No, I was just like, we're going to take a hit from the bong.
There we go.
But hits from the bong, to be honest, I think it feels better.
It just can't be anything else, really, can it? I mean, you're going through his hits. It writes itself.
Smashing those hoes and hitting that bong in June.
It's also just so inappropriate for Bong Joon-ho as well. So.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll be back with that in a couple of weeks. Next week we're doing our year-end show, so that's likely to go long. And this week, frankly, Noel's on. We're talking M3gan. We've got plenty to be getting on with. So fuck you. Right. So let's talk about some news. I don't think it's necessarily news, but one thing that I wanted to talk about is the weirdest Oscar campaign of the year.
Yeah.
So over the last week or so, a variety of celebrities, including Edward Norton, Amy Adams, I think Jennifer Aniston, and a bunch of others, have been basically putting on their Instagram or Twitter almost the same wording, each person, talking about Andrea Riseborough's performance in a film called To Leslie. To Leslie is a film that premiered in Sundance last year, came out in October in the US, and earned $60,000. But now people seem to be trying to make her performance in it a thing.
Yeah.
Just further being just a bit weird, IndieWire came out with an article today, basically saying it's this phenomena explained. And I just want to read. I'm just going to get it up here now. I just want to read one of the last bits in it. Voting closes today, so it's a little too late. Even if Riseborough doesn't land the nomination, at least she's in a better position to win the Film Indie Spirit Award in March. More people know who she is, which gets her that much closer to a nomination next time. And if she does get nominated, well, then maybe good things can happen in Hollywood. This article on IndieWire, I swear to God, is written by an AI, which has been paid for. It feels like GPT has come in and has written this article about Andrea Riseborough.
Well, it's written by a guy called Ryan Latanzio, but I'm going to say that maybe it's Ryan Latanthrio.
Fuck, yeah, absolutely. Look at this fucker. I mean, like that. Frankly, his profile picture looks like it could have been AI generated. Yep. Ryan Latanzio, you are not real. But yeah, this is just bizarre. And I mean, the list of people is so random as well. Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Winslet, Amy Adams, Kate Blanchett, Courtney Cox, Demi Moore, Mia Farrow, Joe Mantegna, Mira Sorvino, Charlize Theron, Sarah Paulson, Edward Norton, Jennifer Aniston, and Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. Kate Winslet recently moderated a Q&A with Riseborough, and Amy Adams is doing one later today.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I mean, if you look at the poster for Two Leslie on Wikipedia, it's a fucking banging poster.
Really?
It's a fucking the poster on for the film on Wikipedia is a fucking nice poster. I'm looking at it going, God, I hope I like that film. I want that poster.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice poster.
Oh, that is a nice poster. Fuck. But it's like, it makes me not want to watch it. A bunch of fucking celebrity friends or people like you just have the same agent putting out a copy and pasted thing about how good Andrea Riseborough in this just makes it feel like, fuck me, is Andrea Riseborough that desperate for an Oscar? This is gross.
Is it the? I don't think it's her. It's the people you've just read out. Are they the most recent guests on the Mark Maron podcast as well? Because he's in the film.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It feels gross to me. It doesn't, none of it feels organic. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like, I've got less interest in this film than I otherwise would have. If they just spent money on marketing the fucking thing. Yeah, I don't know.
I will absolutely watch it because I will watch anything with Andrea Riseborough in it. But it has felt a little bit weird that I literally barely heard of this movie until like 4 or 5 days ago, and then I have been like, this is weird. The amount I'm hearing about it now. I had to check to see if it was coming out like this week in the UK or something like that, and I was like, no, it's not.
It felt a little bit. It reminded me when you sent that over before, Ian, and I had a look at it. It reminded me of. You know, when you see celebrity novels or celebrity kids books or celebrity biographies and stuff, and there's a pull quote from somebody on the front, and you're like, you've not read that. You've not read that book. It reminded me a bit of that. And I feel like that might have worked if there were more interesting actors mentioned in there. Like if they threw in something random, like Danny Trejo said it was like the best film he's seen all year or something like that, then maybe I'd be like, oh, okay. But
yeah.
It didn't do much to liven it up, really, did it?
If it wasn't a collection of some of the most bland kind of, yes, you like it, don't you, Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go and see a film that Gwyneth Paltrow likes.
No. That's it. I imagine that Gwyneth Paltrow hasn't seen a film in 10 years.
I mean, Joe Mantegna was a bit of a weird one, though. I will say that.
I mean, that sticks out like a sore thumb, right?
That's the Danny Trejo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost like somebody's gone, have you seen to Leslie? He's gone, yep, abso-fucking-lutely. And then they've walked up and he's gone, who was that?
No,
Who's
Joe
Leslie?
Mantegna is the only one who means it.
Yeah.
He's the one who's seen it. Gwyneth Paltrow is just fucking shilling a candle that's called to Leslie.
Oh, man. Right, a bit of breaking news.
Ooh.
Anton Fuqua has set his new next project after The Equalizer 3.
Is it Equalizer 4?
He's doing a Michael Jackson biopic.
Oh, fucking hell.
Is this going to be a biopic in the same way that I Want to Dance with Somebody was a biopic then?
Oh, God.
Screenplay is by John Logan, who I think wrote Gladiator, I want to say.
Yeah.
Being produced by Graham King, who produced Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ouch,
Oh,
there it
God.
is. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuckery
It's a
right
little
there.
bit like the Bart Simpson meme, innit?
Yeah. Wait for it. Fuck it. So it's going to be a pile of dog shit then.
Yeah.
It's being co-produced with the executors of the Jackson estate. And it looks like Robert Richardson is going to be shooting it, but those are the only details that we have so far.
So it's going to be a complete, pardon the pun, whitewash then.
But Richardson's shooting it, so it's going to look really nice.
I don't know who
Yeah.
that is.
It's going to look beautiful.
That, if they've got any fucking sense whatsoever, just do it up to a certain point and then just stop.
You mean
Don't try and make a paedophile a sympathetic fucking character.
just after Off the Wall was released?
Straight up.
I don't think that they can possibly touch it. They just can't, unless they position it as accusations and how he dealt with the accusations.
Yeah, they're going to
so
have
difficult.
they're going to have to go up to literally something like the Thriller video premiere or something like that.
Yeah, but if the thing is, if they deal with the accusations and his reaction to it, they're going to be trying to make him a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
They're not going to actually portray it as having happened. So
Oh, God, no.
then it's
There's
just fucking bull rap all over again with it just being fucking false.
There's a big difference between skirting around drug abuse and possibly even, violent behaviour and stuff like that, and what he was accused of. That I don't think there's a way they can address that in any way.
No.
That fucking mad.
I mean, to be honest, that'll be why the Jackson estate want to do it, so that they can tell a different story.
Yeah.
Did we all see that Jakey G announced when the new Guy Ritchie film's coming out on his Twitter, on his Instagram?
No? When's that?
It comes into theatres April 21st.
Hang on,
This
which one
year?
are we talking now? Are we talking Operation Fortune or the one that he's in?
The Covenant, the one that he's in.
Hang on, so Operation Fortune doesn't have a release date yet. Was ready at least a year ago, and the Jakey G one is going to come out probably before it.
Yeah, it's coming out on. Apparently, Operation Fortune is now coming out in March, and this is coming out in April.
What? So we get two Guy Ritchie films?
Wow.
All right.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal put out a picture on his Instagram saying, "Making movies is always a blessing, but it's rare when one really changes you, resets the course of things. A ridiculously talented, kind, and hard-working group of people made this one, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is April 21st.
Fuck yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal saying it changed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
The Covenant movie has a Instagram page, and it is just the MGM logo, and that's it.
Right. Good.
Yeah, there isn't an image at all on the IMDb, so.
Well, if it's coming out if it's coming out in April, there better be a fucking trailer soon.
Yeah. Oh,
Mad.
Anthony Starr's in that as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is he the one who accused Kevin Spacey of having his way with him? Or
No.
like trying to
No,
have his way
he's
with
the
him?
guy who plays Homelander in The Boys.
Oh, no.
But
Who am I
it's
thinking?
impossible
Rapp.
to know what he does because
Anthony Rapp. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you go on the IMDb, not only is there no images, half the characters don't have. Oh well, a lot of the characters don't have names.
Yeah.
So yeah. We've got Sergeant John Kinley, which is Jake Gyllenhaal, Anthony Starr, no character, Emily Beecham, no character, Alexander Ludwig, no character, Bobby Schofield, no character, Dar Salim Ahmed. Then below that, Jason Wong, no character. Then below that, we get Swen Temmel as team member Joe.
Great.
Fahim Fazli as Afghan interpreter. Yeah.
One of these guys later on is called Javier Ramos. Is just called actor.
But do you know why that happens on IMDb sometimes though? But like you just
Because
get
the movie isn't finished.
No, because like that will be the actors or their agents literally updating like it's saying to IMDb, I'm in this. This is who I'm billed as. So it like literally that'll be those people going like I'm in this. And that they have to be like verified as like they are who they say they are, at least they're supposed to. And then that credit gets put on there. So you'll randomly see films that aren't going to come out for like a year, but some fucking jobber day player has got them and their character name on IMDb.
If I was that, no matter how big a fucking star I was, I would have Mark Foster, character named John Matrix, for every fucking film I was doing.
So the guy that's just credited as playing actor,
Yeah.
he's just got a real shit agent then.
His sister's doing it,
Yeah.
clearly.
Exactly. But I mean,
Just
IMDb,
an actor, isn't he? Fuck off.
but it's like so much of that information is user generated because I mean it's like fucking Alexander Skarsgård, like famously his IMDb photo was chosen by him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know what I'm referring to, but look it up.
Yeah.
And it's fucking incredible. And yeah, I don't know, that just makes me laugh. But that's brilliant. The only information that we have on the new Guy Ritchie film is Jakey G saying this is when it's coming out, and just a bunch of random fuckers updating their own IMDb.
Can you imagine if anyone else put that out and like 260,000 people have liked it, and everyone at the studio's going, wait, are we really releasing it in April? Does anyone else know this? Where's he got this from?
Team member Joe, do you know about this?
Yeah.
What,
Actor, do you know about this?
Oh god, I just choked on my fucking beer when you said that though. Good work. Fuck. Just the fact he calls him team member Joe. Good. All right. Nice. New Guy Ritchie. 2 films, 2 months. Let's go. Also, Netflix announced a bunch of films being released this year in some dates. We know that David Fincher's The Killer comes out in November, so I need to have a look at our spreadsheet. And Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1 comes out right before Christmas.
Oh god, that's gonna be like a fucking social media fucking Christmas gift, that, isn't it?
Absolutely, can't wait. And Gal Gadot's got an action film on there in August. Extraction 2 comes out on Bruce Springsteen Day, June 16th. A day that will live in infamy. It's interesting, this. It doesn't... Oh, Murder Mystery 2's out in March as well. Fucking A.
Nice.
But the thing is, this kind of like trailer that they put out looked a little bit... If this is like what you've got here, don't get me wrong, there's a few interesting things here, but there's also an awful lot of... it kind of feels like maybe you're not getting as many stars and directors and whatnot than you were. And, Netflix are doing some cost cutting and whatnot. But I kind of almost think it's just a further little bit of evidence that things are going back to studios and going back to theatrical play, which I know is going to please Noel no end. But at least, you know, there is a bit of a compromise now, though, where, hey, if you miss a film in the cinema, it will probably be available somewhere a few weeks later, not in the cinema. Which never used to happen. So that's something.
It's really taking the urgency and the appeal out of going to the cinema for me, though. I'll be honest, because there's so many times recently when we've needed to go to the cinema to review something for this, and it's been like, fuck, I wish I could just watch this at home. And if there was the option to watch everything at home, I don't think I'd ever set foot in a cinema again, apart from for the Dune sequel.
No, I like the cinema.
There's other people there.
Because you do not get that guy's reaction that we got in M3gan.
Yeah, I know, but
that was a brilliant reaction.
I could live without that for the convenience and comfort of being able to watch it on my nice big TV in my nice warm living room, rather than wrapping myself up in my coat because I'm fucking freezing. It is so cold.
It's not.
How big's your TV now, Bex?
People. Big? I don't know.
Mark, how big's your TV? You better fucking know.
50.
50?
Yeah.
All right.
It's
not big enough, but fine.
See, that's it. I feel like I've hit a nice groove of, like, I think I used to be, I want to watch everything at home. But I feel like now it's less about the film and it's more about, okay, I've got time to go and see a film this week. I mean, you know, there are certain things that I want to see at the cinema, but a lot of the time it'll be like, right, what's on at the cinema next week, because I'm not doing anything on Tuesday and it'll be a good thing to do. The rest of the time, yes, I would quite like to just have stuff on my screen, my projector at home, because that's changed my fucking life, that thing. But I feel like I've got a nice balance at the moment where I'm enjoying home watching kind of as much as I'm enjoying cinema watching. It's just it's more the convenience thing than anything else, you know, when I can fit things in.
See, I think that's the issue. It is inconvenient, isn't it? Like, because obviously where we are now, it's a bit of a trek to the cinema and the times never quite line up with when you're free. And if you have to see something specific, it's not a case of, oh, I'm free at this time, what shall I see? It's fucking hell, I need to see this. When can I go?
Becky, you need to move.
I quite like where I am. To be fair, I don't hate it as much as I did when we were going to Cineworld all the time. I quite like the Parkway.
You like the Parkway because they always take the piss out of me.
They do take the piss out of me. That was funny last night.
Right, tangent. What happened?
Go on, Rebecca.
So we walk up to the counter and Mark, not quietly, says, "You're going to have to ask for these tickets because I'm just going to ask for tickets for M3gan." And I said, "I'm sure that this gentleman would be fine with that." And he just laughed. So the bants were already kind of on. And then he asks, so background, every time we go, the people ask us to pick our seats, and Mark jabs at the fucking screen. It's not a touch screen, but he does it anyway. So this time we went, right.
Good.
Oh God, right. Remember, Mark, it's not a touch screen. So Mark then reads out, we'll have G10 and 11. And the guy says, "Oh, we've upgraded the monitors so you can just tap it on the screen." And he so nearly did before he went, ah.
That's fucking incredible. That cheeky bastard.
Oh. So that was fun.
Brilliant. But that's nice though, because that just shows that you've got a good relationship with the people who work there, and I think that's kind of key to it as well. If my local cinema was a fucking Cineworld or an Odeon, I would be less enthused about going there. But if you've got a good local, like we've got a great cinema that's kind of near us, you know, you've seen how far it is from me. That's like a 10-15 minute drive away. And I like going to that cinema. It's a nice environment. So that goes a long way. Like I could not be dealing with going into a shitty Cineworld nowadays.
No, I think I'm done with multiplexes. They're just soulless.
Yeah.
And the coffee machines never work.
The standards of I've said this so many times, so I'll be quick. The standards of projection at Odeon, I think, are actually really, really good, and that keeps me going to Odeon, as well as the fact that I got a limitless pass for the year for like 150 quid, which is fuck all considering the amount I use it. Cineworld, once my annual pass runs out next month, I'm never getting another Cineworld pass ever again. Fuck Cineworld.
How is Cineworld on the sort of, because the attractive thing about Cineworld used to be, and I've not been to one in literally maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something. Like, the attraction with Cineworld used to be that they would play quite a few things that not a lot of other places would play. Is that still the case? Or?
Yeah. So to be fair, the one in Cardiff, maybe not so much these days. But to be fair, I think it's because they play an awful lot of Bollywood films or Nollywood films. Like, they do a lot of them these days, and I love that they do. So I'm not going to necessarily criticize it, but the Odeon does pretty much enough. And then if there is an art house film that I want to go and see, Chapter, the art house here, plays them, and they're £6 a ticket.
Yeah, that's a good thing about, for instance, if I wanted to go to the cinema tomorrow to Parkway, this is what I could go and see. They're re-showing See How They Run. They're re-showing Banshees. M3gan. Roald Dahl's Matilda is still playing. A Man Called Otto. Avatar: Way of Water. I Want to Dance with Somebody. Empire of Light. Till, and The Old Way.
Mark, The Old Way, the Nicolas Cage Western.
Yep.
They're playing that.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep. And then obviously Friday, Book of Vision and Babylon kick in.
Book of
All right,
Vision.
okay, but on the counter side of that, if you wanted to go to Cineworld tomorrow, you could see M3gan, Varisu, Empire of Light, A Man Called Otto, Till, that god-awful Whitney Houston thing, Avatar, and Matilda. So they've not got much more.
No, I'm saying they've got less. I'm saying that the Parkway weirdly is kind of stacked.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Oh, sorry, I missed your lead in. I was trying to get the Cineworld app open.
I think
which is now shit.
The only thing for me is, like, obviously we've got the light in Stockport, which is great, but it's a drive away. So what will usually happen is either me or Adam or Austin, our mate from nearby, one of us will drive and the other two can have a couple of beers. If we've also got a very local cinema in Marple, which is like a 10-minute walk away from my house, and that night is more, we can all sort of walk down to the local pub, have a couple of pints, and then go into that cinema. If only that cinema showed better or more different stuff, because the difference that it makes to a night, you know, you can walk down there, you can walk back, have a couple of pints on the way there, that type of thing. It's perfect. But it's become a bit of a sort of running joke with us that you know what the schedule's. They've got one screen and you can spot a Marple region film a mile away. So, you know, to give you examples, they showed Ticket to Paradise, and they showed Living, and they showed Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and basically anything that's going to appeal to like people over the age of 50 or 60. That's what they're going to show there, which occasionally works out fine, because this week, like, they're showing Empire of Light this week, so that works quite well. But then a lot of the time you'll end up with, I don't know, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel 3 running for 2 weeks, and you don't necessarily need that. I don't know if that film exists. If it doesn't, when it comes out, it will be playing locally near me. So.
I'm currently going through negotiations to write and direct.
Fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I feel like that comment just absolutely killed your flow there, Noel.
No, I was done, but that's the thing. I've got the good multiplex nearby, but it's a bit of a drive. I kind of wish that this local cinema was a little bit better, so I am planning to buy it at some point and turn it into a much better cinema. So there
Can you
go.
call it the Marplex?
That makes sense. Yes.
Oh dear.
I absolutely will.
Fucking A. Good. Right. Trailers. Do we have any? You're gonna have to remind me if I've seen any.
I watched the trailer for Marlowe.
I watched that too. Yeah.
It's a Liam Neeson does a noir, but yet still essentially seems to play
Liam Neeson. I'm so glad you said that, because I even looked up, like, because I don't know much about the Raymond Chandler novels or Philip Marlowe as a character, but when you look up like Philip Marlowe as a character, it's a hard-bitten, wisecracking LA detective, and then you watch this trailer and it's, my name is Philip Marlowe. No, that's not a Los Angeles hard-bitten detective.
He's doing like fucking Muay Thai on people and like breaking chairs over people.
I'm a Los Angeles cop.
And all of the most interesting actors in it are not like credited. So it's like it says Liam Neeson, Diane Kruger, Jessica Lange, and then you've got like Danny Houston fucking turns up.
Oh, I like Danny Houston.
Yeah.
Nice.
I will say
it looks big, isn't it?
It looks like the most expensive film that Liam Neeson's been in for a while.
Who's fucking directing this? God, I don't know how I missed this.
Neil Jordan.
Neil Jordan.
Neil Jordan?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
It looks like it's got some good action in it as well. I mean,
that sounds ace.
Yeah, I think it has got Tuesday Night written all over it.
It's got Marple Regent Cinema written all over it.
Hell yeah.
Yes, exactly.
No, not Marble Regent Cinema.
Oh no, it might be a bit too loud. Oh, you mean the Marplex? Sorry.
Yes, the Marplex. Are you being too loud?
It might be a bit too loud. The film, I mean, for the old people.
Oh right.
Liam Neeson's too gravelly.
Yeah.
Rotherham's finest Daryl De Silva's in it.
Oh yes. Liam. Mark, do your Liam Neeson. No, not Mark. No. Do your Liam Neeson again.
My name is Philip Marlowe.
I'd love. Yeah. It's good. Fuck. This is chaos. This is great.
Watch that. I'm actually gonna. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I will happily watch that. To be honest.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
It sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah. It looks like the most 7 out of 10 movie ever made.
That's Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Also the most Amazon Prime of movies ever made. Somebody I used to know, starring Alison Brie and written and directed by Dave Franco.
Oh dear.
Did anybody get, like, I watched this as well. This felt like, because it says written by Alison Brie and Dave Franco.
Yeah.
And directed by Dave Franco. This just feels like a weird Dave Franco fantasy.
Yeah.
I can imagine he was like jerking off while they were writing it together.
Yeah.
And in the director's chair.
Yes, while in the diary, with a megaphone.
I get the feeling like no, but this was something that James Franco told Dave Franco would be kinky.
You've got to do this for me. They won't let me make movies anymore.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to do because I'm kinky as fuck. But you're boring. So, and you've got a hot wife. Trust me, I know. We're just friends though.
Danny Poody's in it.
What?
Danny Poody's in it.
Of course he is.
What's a Danny Poody?
Off of Community.
Nothing. What's a Danny Poody with you? Sorry.
That's pretty good.
Oh dear. Yeah, just he's in Community with her, isn't he?
Oh, okay. That'll be why I don't know what a Danny Poody is.
Fair enough.
It looks very flat, and also I'd say in that, was it 2 minutes 20 seconds, that trailer, it's pretty much the whole film right there. I don't know if there's anything more to explore.
Yeah, it keeps no secrets.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I just want to check something real quick. Sorry. Come on. Right, yeah, okay. He's in Mythic Quest as well. All right. Fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was going sorry because I didn't want to say he was in Mythic Quest, and it turns out that I was talking about the wrong person. Because I thought that might sound really bad, but no. Danny Poody is. Yes, he's the guy from Mythic Quest. I know what a Danny Poody is.
He's great in Mythic Quest as well, and most people are great in Mythic Quest, but he's great in that. Alison Brie, I've never really got Alison Brie.
Nope.
No, there was a whole thing like getting on for 10 years ago, wasn't it? Where she was like the hot new thing,
Mm.
but then never actually did anything to kind of back it up outside of like
There
in
was,
film or
there was a
anything
bit of a period, and it was around when she came to the fore, where like very shrill type A girls that like basically bullied their partners was like a whole kink, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And it seems to have gone away, but Alison Brie hasn't.
Yeah.
And she's still just there being very shrill and type A.
Yeah.
And Aubrey Plaza seems to have navigated it quite well.
Yeah.
She's not
You know-
shrill though, is she? She's got a very deep voice, and I think that's
No,
more calming. She's calmingly twattish. Like she'd rip you to shreds with her words, and you'd fucking love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a difference between, I feel like Alison Brie is annoying, whereas Aubrey Plaza is
just a bitch.
Sort of sly and a bit sort of like dry and funny. And like you say, she's mean, but like funny with it.
Yeah. Alison Brie's got far too much of a neurotic air to her. I can't. No.
Alison Brie has very much.
We're just ripping poor Alison Brie apart now, aren't we?
But she has very much like she'd arrive at a party, and as they're walking through a door, she'd turn to Dave Franco and go, "We're staying for 15 fucking minutes, and then we're leaving David."
Yeah.
And then she walks up and he just mutters to himself, "It's Dave."
Oh dear. He does seem like the type that would get bullied as well.
Oh yeah.
And enjoy it.
Yeah. He has been pegged. And I'm not judging him on that. That's fine. But he has.
Yeah, but her calling him James while she did it, that's a going bit far.
Oh, shit.
You like James's dick, David? Dave.
It's Dave. I'm never going to be able to look at Dave Franco now without thinking, it's Dave.
I will never ever forget watching.
I know what you're going to say, and I'll never forget it either. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Okay. Were you there?
You told us about it, and it stuck with me as well. Every time I see Dave Franco, I think of that. Is this the conversation you had with Donna?
Yeah. So we're watching 21 Jump Street, and Donna's just like, oh, that guy, kind of looks like James Franco, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's his brother Dave, and she just looked at me like, shut the fuck up, you twat. Like, what? You know, just like I'm fucking about. I'm like, no, seriously, that's his brother Dave. And it just like, but it is that though, isn't it? It's just like, he's like the brother, like the random looking guy who kind of looks like James Franco, but isn't as good looking as James Franco. And of course, he's called Dave.
Yeah. It's like somewhere out there, there's also a Dave Hemsworth.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It probably is.
I'm pretty sure one of the Hemsworths started working for the company I worked for last week, taking phone calls about pensions. You know, I think that's Dave Hemsworth.
Yeah. But he was also in Neighbours.
What, Dave Hemsworth?
Yeah. What the rest of them were.
Oh, dearie me. So, any other trailers? I mean, we've had some bangers so far. Oh, actually, the Ashton Kutcher Reese Witherspoon one.
Oh, that's the one I didn't watch because as Reese Witherspoon, it's I just figured you wouldn't have watched it.
No, I did because like Donna loves Reese Witherspoon. So new Netflix one where they play like friends who when they met they shagged but then just like stayed friends after. They almost holiday it and like house swap or something. And then Reese Witherspoon starts a relationship with some guy, and then Ashton Kutcher realizes he actually loved her all along, or something. I mean, it looks like exactly how that sounds. It feels like it's going to be aggressively 3 out of 5. But you know, I watched both Legally Blonde films. I watched Sweet Home Alabama over the last few years. Reese Witherspoon, I get why people like her. It's just that I don't like her.
It's written and directed by the woman who wrote 27 Dresses, Devil Wears Prada, Morning Glory, We Bought a Zoo, and Cruella.
There are some good credits in there.
Yeah. Morning Glory is actually a really enjoyable film.
Yep, low-key slaps. I test printed that on a Saturday night at like midnight in the Cardiff View, and was like had the most surprisingly entertained time.
Yep.
Yeah, good. So yeah, your place or mine. It looks okay. We'll watch with Donna.
I got halfway through a trailer for a film called Sharper, that stars.
Did you stop because it wasn't sharp enough?
I did stop because it was Sharper. I stopped because I went, I'm already bored of this film, and I'm only a minute and 30 seconds of the trailer.
That's very blunt of you.
Fuck, that's better.
Has it got Julianne Moore in it? She's boring now.
Oh, is this the Apple TV one? I think I
think,
stopped watching this as well.
It just looks boring.
Do you know, I remember starting that trailer, but genuinely, I can't remember stopping that trailer. Well, no, I do. I don't remember finishing that trailer, so I must have stopped that trailer.
Yeah.
Con artist takes on Manhattan's billionaires.
I just don't
Sounds great.
care.
Is it John Lithgow she gets with or something? And the guy, Justice Smith, is ripping them off or something?
Justice Smith's his son, and it's Julianne Moore and Sebastian Stan, a mother and son team who will end up ripping him off or something like that. It's got, actually, he's going to turn out to be her boyfriend rather than fucking son written all over it.
Nice. Justice Smith, is he the one out of Pokemon, yeah?
Yes. He was previously an animated character.
Why don't we have another live action Pokemon film?
Yeah, it feels like that should have been announced by now, shouldn't it?
It feels like COVID maybe kicked that in the dick.
Are they trying to maybe lock down Ryan Reynolds and they can't?
Maybe, but I want that. Detective Pikachu's great.
Which Pokemon would you like it to focus on?
Fucking Wooloo, buddy.
What the fuck's Wooloo?
I don't, because last time you did this, I never knew if you were taking the piss out of me or not with like pretend names.
Wooloo.
I don't know Wooloo.
No, I'm telling you, look him up now. Wooloo.
I've probably seen him before. Is it WOO?
WOOLOO. I swear, I think. I can get
like a sheep with braids.
Oh, he's like a sheep, yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah, but he's called Wooloo.
Okay.
Marchomp is a fucking beast as well.
Yeah, see, me and Charlie play this. Like, we play, like, if we're ever bored somewhere, like on a train or whatever, like, I'll just get my phone out and just using notes. You have to guess you have to play who's that Pokemon, but you just draw a Pokemon, then the other person has to guess it. So I've ended up learning quite a lot of Pokemon that way.
You're a good dad. That's great.
It's fun. And also I think it's that sort of the fact that he knows so many of these things. I find it really impressive. So it's almost like, you know, the way I used to be with something like, I don't know, like Transformers or something like that. But yeah, we got a Cubone in Detective Pikachu, and Cubone's my favourite. But I'd take an Umbreon or what's the orange and black tiger thing that starts off as a little cat.
Oh, fuck.
I really like that guy. Cat Pokemon. Let's find him.
My favourite was always Flareon because it looks like a cat, but with a real big bushy tail. He looks so confused. And I always hated it's like Bulbasaur, and it's like a plant head thing.
Yeah, Bulbasaur's a twat.
Ooh, Torracat. Torracat's awesome. I like Torracat.
Torracat.
How are we spelling that?
Torracat.
Torracat.
If it wasn't for the swearing, I'd play this back to Lottie, and it would blow her mind that we're talking about this.
And he evolves into Incineroar.
Oh, shit!
Awesome. Yeah.
Incineroar's great.
And Incineroar is a proper badass as well.
Yeah, he is.
Nice.
But they need to do another one. It was a slam dunk. It made a crap load of money. People liked it. It's got a banging version of that Pokemon, I think, like Pokemon something city theme during the end credits of that thing. That film slaps, and we need another one. And I know COVID has kicked a lot of things in the dick, but do you know what? We're getting an Extraction 2. We can have a Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
It must be the Reynolds factor, because he's got his fingers in a lot of pies at the moment, and he also said he was taking a break. So it has to be that.
Shame. More trailers?
I don't have anything else now.
I've got one more that's I don't know how worth talking about it is. It's called Consecration. It's a Shudder one. I think it popped up in my YouTube because it's a Shudder one. I've been watching a fair amount of horror stuff recently. I seem to be in a bit of a horror mood. So it's basically Jenna Malone in a nunnery, I guess, and there's something spooky going on. It looks interesting, and it starts off looking like it's going to go to an interesting place. But the horror stuff of it doesn't seem very clear what the horror... there are 3 instances in a 2.5-minute trailer of a sort of mousy looking nun who pops out on Gemma Malone to say peekaboo. And it happens 3 times in the trailer, and I'm like, is that all the scares in this? Is this just Jenna Malone walking around a nunnery and this nun pops out occasionally and says peekaboo? So I'll watch it because it's going to turn up on Shudder. But yeah, I kind of feel like I need more information.
It's a religious horror with Danny Houston in it. I think I'd probably be all right with that.
Yeah, and some of it looks really good, like in terms of the settings. I'm not sure where it's set. It looks like it might be set in like Ireland or the Lake District or something like that.
Scotland.
Is it Scotland?
A remote Scottish convent, apparently.
There we go. But then there's so a lot of it looks great, but then there's one shot of Gemma Malone outside the nunnery at about 20 seconds, and it looks weirdly soft focus, like the whole thing's been run through a Photoshop filter or something. So yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it. Looks fairly interesting, or it could end up being very boring. We'll see.
Question. So it's set in Britain. Is it very grey?
It's got a pretty washed out look to it, yeah.
Yeah. It does. Love it.
Par for the course.
We have no colour in this burg.
Dirty Britain.
Dirty.
Right. Let's do it. Let's unleash M3gan. Directed by Gerard Johnstone and starring Alison Williams, Violet McGraw, Ronnie Chiang, Jen Brown, Brian Jordan Alvarez, and Amy Donald and Jenna Davis as M3gan. Amy Donald being the physical performance, Jenna Davis being the voice. So, M3gan. Alison Williams is asked to make a toy. She makes the toy. Well, actually, she doesn't make the toy that she's asked to. She makes M3gan. Why? To look after her niece, whose parents were killed in a car crash, partially caused by a farting doll. M3gan needs to protect the kid at all costs, and that will include killing and being a salty little bitch. Noel, you're the guest. Let's start with you, M3gan. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, overall, honestly, I liked it. I felt like it ticked a lot of boxes for me in terms of the tone and what it was going for. It felt like it was going for a similar vibe to, I would say, something like the first Child's Play film. It sort of, there's a certain amount. It's not as crazy as Child's Play 2 and 3 end up. It's more in the vein of the first Child's Play, where it's sort of played seriously, but it can't help but be funny. And I think that's probably what disappointed me slightly about it. It felt like it was about 2 or 3 kills short of a really good time.
Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was really entertaining, but I just could have done with a little bit more chaos.
Bex, it feels like you're of a similar vibe.
Yeah, that basically 100% echoes my sentiments. It just needs a bit more bite. It's a little bit too tame.
Well, the fact that they did cut bits to get a
a PG-13.
A PG-13 in the US does make you watch it going, yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can tell on that.
And saying that, I watched Drag Me to Hell and that was my inspiration because that's a PG-13. That has so much more going for it in the sort of like atmosphere and the gore and the violence and just inherently creepy subject matter. Yeah.
Jesus.
Whereas I think you've got to work a little bit harder to make a doll
The thing is,
scary and not funny.
The thing is with Drag Me to Hell, the reason why that's a PG-13 is because like a lot of the fluids in that film are not red. They're like oozy kind of stuff, and like it's disgusting, but it's not blood.
Yeah.
So like because
it's more like snot.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like gross and not like blood, you can get away with the PG-13. It's wild that Drag Me to Hell's a PG-13.
The other thing I'd potentially compare it to as well in the same in the same vein is everybody familiar with Deadly Friend, the Wes Craven film?
Yeah.
Sure.
It felt like, again, it was about two or three kills away from being another one of those, which is what I was kind of hoping for. So like if you think about the you're all spoilers all the time, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you think about the kill of the next door neighbor, that sort of had shades of the sort of basketball kill in Deadly Friend, but not quite as zany. So I felt like if it had had a few more of those, M3gan killing people who've been bad to her, or who've been, who've, like the guy who poked her with the stick in that sort of the bit that was sort of the Boston Electronics kind of thing, where he was sort of like jabbing her with a stick. Like she strung him up at one point, but then he got cut down and he was okay. And I'm like, no, you should have like beat him to death with that thing that he was hitting you with.
Or should have yanked it and it should have cut into his throat or something.
Yeah. Or even just, a little bit like Deadly Friend was. And I think some of the Child's Play stuff, she exacts revenge on people, which sort of reflects the way that she was treated by them. That would have been great. A little bit more of that. But it's not a major complaint because I was entertained, but I just just felt like it was just a little bit short.
I just wanted it to be a little bit nastier.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, and I don't know. I'll go to Mark in a sec, but just to mix things up a bit. Like I gotta say, I kind of feel like maybe we're going to be 4 for 4 here. I really enjoyed it. It felt like almost like if they knew the kind of impact the marketing was going to have when they were filming it, I feel like there would have been some more crazy to it. Yeah. But what I enjoyed was the fact that, okay, there wasn't like there's actually not that many kills in it at all. But what
there's two, and the first one's kind of an accident.
Fuck me. So hang on. So we've got. You got the lad.
Apart from the dog, like there's the dog, but I think that's off camera, isn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't a massive fan of that for obvious reasons, but hey, you've got the kid, you've got the neighbor, you've got the boss, you've got the boss's assistant, and then actually, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 4. It feels like the next one. I'm a little worried they're going to go too much in the opposite direction. But then again, maybe I want it to just go too much in the opposite direction.
Well, that's it. The next one is going to be Child's Play 2, I think. And I think that's probably what I was hoping for.
Yeah, the next one is going to have that they'd already started building like fucking prototype factory line ones, and she's going to end up with a M3gan army.
But yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. Alison Williams was interesting casting. I think it worked because it feels like she can play smart and also utterly unfeeling to human emotion, at least at the start of the film. I liked her. And also the girl who played like the physical presence of M3gan is incredible. The fact that like she did all those moves is a little bit insane. I'm thinking particularly of like when she goes running after that boy in the woods and just goes down on all fours.
Never all four running, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's that's something.
I'm just gonna put it out there now. When he was like messing with her, because obviously he was a bit older, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When he was messing with her and he laid her down and he like straddled her, I thought that was gonna go in a different direction.
Yeah, there was an odd moment there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm kind of glad it didn't, because where I thought it was going that way, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. Yeah.
You can't do that with this. It's like, if I don't think they would, but if they tried to do M3gan seducing someone who's coded as a paedophile or something like that.
No,
that's
unless they get Alex Garland to direct the next one, that's not happening, is it?
No, but I think this is a really, really good starter for 10. The next one could be an absolute banger, but we'll see. But Mark, what were your thoughts?
I think I echo what you guys say. What I will say is, I thought it's really quite engaging to watch. It's quite an easy watch. There's not, it's not just like 90 minutes. It's just over 100 minutes, but it doesn't feel, there's not an awful lot of kind of like fat on it. It's quite a lean film. And it's intriguing to watch. I liked the nods to RoboCop that were in it. I thought they were fun.
The ad at the start.
Oh yeah, that was great.
When she was calibrating the sight thing and she's using the pen and it's doing the marker thing to capture it. The calibrating that was very. It was so RoboCop that it had to be intentional.
Yeah.
100%.
I will say I also like the moment where she did the thing with the pen, and then the second time she did it, she just twatted it out of her hand. That was great.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I liked it, but I agree with you guys. It could have done to either have gone more fucking crazy. Like where she's in the offices. And she just kills the two guys. You could have done with a little bit of a rampage there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I thought we were gonna get. Like when they came out of the elevator and there's all those people there, it's like, right, she's gonna fucking kick off.
Yeah, she's gonna go full fucking Gabriel.
Fight dancing, like killing everyone, and then she just fucking
she's gonna like creates a diversion and walks out.
Yeah.
Again, that kind of feels like if they shot half the film, but like the teaser, the trailer was like part of that half of the film, I think Universal would have been like, right, here's $15 million more, go film a massacre, and they would have done that.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing, which is a really, really mild complaint,
Go on.
but it bugged me?
Go on.
Right, she's a doll,
Yeah.
right? Dolls come with alternative fucking clothing. I got sick of seeing her in that shitty dress.
She was a prototype.
I don't care. She would have fit into children's clothes. Put her in some fucking jeans and a t-shirt. I hated that dress by the end of this movie. And that stupid fucking scarf.
And there was a shot of like other kids like dressing as her as well, wasn't there, I think.
Oh god, yeah.
When she went on sale, or when she was about to get announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked like she'd been dressed by like Nanny McPhee.
Yeah. Like, why would she's a prototype that's been made by a bunch of fucking millennials. She'd be wearing a band t-shirt and some jeans, probably some Converse, if it was a prototype. Yeah,
she'd look like a Bratz or a LOL Surprise or something like that. Like, God, I'm showing my age, right?
You're showing your parentage.
Yeah. Actually, I will say that on the there was things. The things that I liked about it were not the things that I thought I was going to like about it going in. So I think one of the most interesting things in it was the relationship that M3gan has with Alison Williams' character. Just the little moments across the dinner table, like where she's sort of judging her parenting, if you like. There's a couple of shots where Alison Williams says something or does something, and Megan's like, "Oh right, yeah, that's." There's a sort of, even though there's no expression on her face, there's a sarcasm or a sort of like an acidic look that she gives her weirdly.
They do a lot with dead-eyed looks in this.
Yeah.
There's one on the video with the CEO as well, isn't there? Which is good. That they're showing before the expo thing. I can't remember what it is he says, she just sort of looks at him like, fuck off.
Yeah,
already.
he says something really fucking. He says something like quite punny and really fucking dumb, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And she kind of looks at him.
Mm.
I like the CEO as well. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
was quite
great. Yeah, he's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian, isn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, he plays it very, very fucking well.
The assistant was too stereotypical snaky assistant, though, wasn't he?
And I mean, I kind of wonder whether they were like eye to a sequel or something like that. But it was kind of weird to me that they did the him
Stealing the information. Yeah.
And it's like she mentions it, but it's never really dealt with. And it was like, okay, so that is going to be the sequel then.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, that's the Child's Play 2 sequel where it's like, you know, they've mass produced a load more of these things without realizing that there's something in the, well, I think it was the chip in the Child's Play series, but in this it'll be, oh no, there's something in the code that allows it to learn, allows it to, you know, eliminate.
They they hint at that, they drop that earlier on, don't they, where she says that I didn't have a chance to put in the parental guides.
M3gan Child's Play 2 setup.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, she's failed to put in the basic AI protocols into M3gan. Thou shalt not kill.
Or you know, they'll bring out a new M3gan that has had all of the correct protocols installed now, but then this version is the stolen version, doesn't have those things in, and we'll get a M3gan versus M4gan.
Well, what I
battle to the death.
I mean, like with James Wan's company having about to kind of basically merge with Blumhouse and become like a mega horror corp, what we're gonna need is M3gan versus Gabriel.
Yeah.
I believe that's the only way that M3gan can be defeated by the growth on Annabelle Wallace's head. That's what we need, and I think that's what we deserve.
Well, at least the writer would be familiar with both characters, though.
Yes, she would.
There's a very obvious Alison Williams problem to get around there, though, isn't there?
She's not in Malignant.
Is she not? Who plays the female version of? Wait a minute.
The female
in my head.
Of
what? Of what's his name?
Gabriel.
Oh shit! Why did I? Yeah, of Gabriel. I thought she was Alison.
No, it's Annabelle Wallace. Who's
Annabelle Wallace.
Really interesting career she has. She pops up in James Wan films, and she was the female lead opposite Tom Cruise in The Mummy.
In The Mummy, yeah.
And that's all I think I've seen her in.
Yeah, that's weird. That was me. I think in my head, Alison Williams was the Annabelle Wallace character in *Malignant*, but I've only seen that film once.
You need to see it at least 3 more times.
I really do need to watch it again, actually. I've been thinking about it a lot recently.
*Malignant*. What a picture. All right, so it kind of feels like maybe we're done with M3gan, and generally it's good effort.
Yep.
Next one's going to be great.
Yeah, very much like that. It's definitely not shit. I get the feeling there might be like an extended cut that comes out that is a little bit more. All right, that's a bit more gnarly.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely not shit, but I would also caveat that with, for anybody who hasn't seen this yet, go and enjoy the film that is there, and not, because it feels a little bit like the buzz that I'm sensing around this feels like it's people reviewing the meme and not reviewing the film.
Yeah.
It's good. It's highly entertaining, but I feel like people are considering that very short moment, which has turned into a GIF, as the film, and that's really not what the film is.
Yeah, agree. It is kind, I don't know. It's interesting because that whole kind of like reviewing the meme thing, it maybe speaks to a bit of a wider point, and I won't go too far on this, but just the way that it feels like film criticism and whatnot online now needs to be going with the clickbaity, going with what's popular and whatnot. And that, like you, but yeah, I kind of feel like our critics bigging up M3gan and signal boosting M3gan, or M3gan, sorry, because they know that is going to get them more views and likes and whatnot.
100%. I mean, yeah, they're reviewing the cultural moment that is M3gan as opposed to the actual film that they saw, and I think the reason that they do that is very intentional. It's to tap into the zeitgeist and the cultural discussion around something. And I don't think it's necessarily 100% intentional. I think most of these reviewers live online and they're part of that cultural discussion and they're excited by the meme culture and the discussion around M3gan. So they're just sort of, they're enjoying being part of that debate, and that's fine. But it just doesn't feel like a correct reflection of the film.
Yeah, quite. I don't know. That's an interesting point. That it's I think the podcast that you put me onto, Noel, The Town.
Did we just lose someone?
Nope, still here.
I think so.
Oh.
So this podcast, The Town, where it's Matt Bellamy, who's some sort of writer. He did an interview last week with Universal's head of marketing and distribution about M3gan. And it was interesting because they were talking about like tapping into like kind of like TikTok culture, and the way that marketing has had to change as like demographics have changed. And Bellamy at the end was just like, this all just sounds a bit depressing, really. That it's basically like you're trying to get people into cinemas by just like parading TikToks of people dancing. And it kind of felt like this distribution guy, he was trying to kind of like put a pretty face on it, but it was a little bit like, yeah, it is. It's the films that are successful in the US at the moment are like Avatar, obviously, M3gan, by basically getting on TikTok and look at these girls dancing, look at this 5-second bit in the trailer. And then weirdly, A Man Called Otto, which in its expansion in its second weekend did double what its projections were. And it's basically, and what they've basically said is in New York and LA, it really underperformed. It did fuck all, which had like distribution executives going like, this film's not going to do anything. And then do you know what? The flyover states really like Tom Hanks playing a grumpy old man. So you've got like this weird, like it's now basically films that can appeal to people on TikTok, big event films that are kind of more theme park rides than they are films to an extent. Sorry, Avatar: Way of Water, that's what you are. And films that people who don't go to the cinema could enjoy because they enjoy watching aging actor be grumpy.
Yeah, I think on one hand, without going too deep into this hole, but like I think on the one hand, nothing has changed. Film marketing has always been film marketing, and studios and their marketing teams will always take advantage of whatever they can exploit to get people into the cinema. I think the difference is with something like TikTok and with social media being what it is now they've got the data. So now they've got the numbers. So everything becomes more of a sort of data-based focus group. It used to be that you could just sort of show a movie to a room full of people, get them to fill in a form, and then you could make some marketing decisions based on that. But now you can put different A and B marketing options out there, test, see which is getting the numbers, see which is getting the likes, put more money behind B if it's doing like it's more of a data game, and that unfortunately might lead to us being missold on certain things.
It's the common thing though. Roger Corman's thing always used to be, it doesn't matter. He used to say, it doesn't matter to me what the film is like. What matters to me is that you bought the ticket. Yeah. So his thing would be, make a half decent film, pair it up with just absolute crap, but all you have to do in this 90-minute movie is get me enough to put in a trailer. Just get me enough to put in a trailer. And that's what he'd do, so that people would go to these double bills to watch the decent one, and then the absolute fucking dross that he made off the back of it, because that's the one that would get people to go to the cinema.
And it's not even that much of a problem in if you're taking a film and you're taking the best moments out of it. The art of trailer making is an absolute art, and that I don't have much of a problem with that. I think the problem that we've got now, more than sort of the dataization of film marketing and stuff like that, is we're starting to see certain films shoot things for the trailer. Either shoot things for the trailer while they're filming them and then include them in the film, or in some cases shoot things for the trailer that don't even end up in the film anyway. That's when you cross a line, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. Even though then again, I mean, well, no, I suppose it wasn't really for the for the trailer specifically, but I think of the 2005 King Kong. There's a shot in the trailer there where Naomi Watts screams and then Kong screams, and that was in the trailer, but not. Sorry, that was just a random fucking synapse firing off in my brain remembering that.
There was also was it Last Exorcism or something? Was it Eli Roth movie? Where there was there was a bit where she crawls along the ceiling that was in the trailer that was really fucking creepy. Not in the movie.
There was a court case in the States as well recently, some
Ana
de Armas fans had taken the Universal to court over what's it called, Yesterday. Because they said Ana de Armas was in the trailer but she wasn't in the movie. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She's in the background in a shot.
Yeah.
But originally she was supposed to be basically a bit of a love triangle thing. Yeah.
So, but I mean, essentially, they didn't shoot Ana de Armas and for the trailer. They shot something and then cut it out.
Yeah.
I think a similar one is Fantastic, the Fantastic Four movie. There was just a bunch of shit in that trailer that never ended up into the film. Yeah, it's great. The stuff that never made it into the film and probably wouldn't have helped. But those were action scenes and stuff. So, yeah.
I feel like if we were 10 years ago, we'd do a commentary of Fantastic Four. Just really get hammered and get into it.
I wouldn't be against it, mate. I wouldn't be against it.
It's got...
My favourite bit of the film is the end where they decide to call themselves the Fantastic Four. That's great.
Do you know what my favourite bit of that film is?
The various wigs that she ends up wearing that indicate the reshoots.
It's one of the few film scores that Philip Glass did.
Wow, really?
It's him and a film score journeyman Marco Bertralmi. But yes, Philip Glass is one of the credited composers of Fantastic Four.
What a dreadful film.
That and old fucking Keble blowing up people's heads towards the end. There's a sequence where he's going down a corridor and Akira-ing people, which I enjoy immensely.
All I'll say is it's some achievement to make the worst Fantastic Four movie.
That shit's wild.
At least there's a reason the Corman one was shit.
You used to be our comic book correspondent, Noel. So I mean now you've graduated to Evil Doll correspondent. But just with your old knowledge, who's what's your kind of who you think the Fantastic Four should be at the moment cast wise?
So I mean, it sounds like it doesn't sound like they're going to include what's his face? Who's the guy who played him in the
Some Good
Strange
News Man.
movie?
Yeah, Krasinski.
It does it. Yeah, oh god, yeah, Some Good News Man. It doesn't sound like they're going to play him, use him. I was never bowled over by the idea of him. To be honest with you, I think the Tim Story Fantastic Four films, I know everybody hates them, and they aren't great, and the effects are terrible, and I think Jessica Alba's kind of terrible in them. I think the tone of it is kind of right for what the Fantastic Four needs to be. I would, for me, if they're going to make a Fantastic Four movie, I would say lean into the comedy a little bit, set it in the 1950s or 60s, give it a little bit of a sort of 1950s, 1960s flavour so you can get away with it being a little bit cornier, and just make it the first family of Marvel. Just don't worry about putting everybody in really boring, drab sort of costumes that sort of look like what Doctor Strange is wearing. Just, be a little bit. It's a little bit like what I've heard people say about James Bond. Fuck all the modern shit. Just set it in 1960 and just let it be James Bond. I'd say the same thing with Fantastic Four. Just set it in 1960s. Let it be Fantastic Four. Let it be family friendly. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't all have to be shot on a green screen like Quantumania clearly is. Just have a bit more fun with it and set it in New York as well. They don't need to be fucking around in space or in the various fucking realms and quantum realms and stuff like that. Just bring it down a little bit and just make it a New York 1960s period piece.
Do you know what I was thinking when you said like James Bond in the 60s, like make it like that?
Yeah.
All I was thinking there was like, Mr. Fantastic, fucking slap him out Sue Storm with his big old massive flappy hand.
Yeah.
That sorry.
Bit of alcoholism and casual racism.
Yeah. I mean, like, seriously, Bond, Sean Connery Bond, he liked to slap women. Very disconcerting. And he did an interview, I think, in the 90s, where he's like, sometimes women need to learn to shut up. And, if I'm going to, sometimes they need a little slap. So, I mean, I don't know, like, when you say be more like Fantastic Four in the 60s, more like Bond in the 60s, that is my first image. Mr. Fantastic rubbing his hand and slapping Sue Storm about a bit, and I'm sorry for that.
But even I can't. It was some podcast I was listening to ages ago, and they were talking about when Daniel Craig was leaving Bond, they were like, all right, well, what's next for Bond? And one of them was saying, make it a period piece, set it in the 1960s. At the same time, there was conversations around I forgot the guy's name, the guy who was in Bridgerton.
Rene Jean Page.
Yeah, so
Jean
he was
Rene
sort
Page.
of he was kind of among the favourites, and they were talking about we might have the first Black Bond. And I thought to myself, well, all right, well, it'd be really interesting to see James Bond in the 1960s being James Bond in a period setting like that, because you could make everything look cool and it'd have a certain flavour to it and stuff like that. But why not combine that and make James Bond black and in the 1960s, and have part of him being who he is having to deal with the fact that he's an agent who happens to be black in a time that is potentially that's a lot more difficult. I don't know, it feels like there's I just set everything in the 60s is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just have the Megan sequel set in the 60s. She can be Clockwork. They can wind her up. It'll be great.
Steampunk Megan.
Steampunk Megan, yeah.
But in also but the thing is, Peyton Reed wanted to direct a Fantastic Four film back in the Tim Story films days. He's done the Ant-Man films. But he wanted to do Fantastic Four in the 60s. Apparently that was the big old thing. It was like, do it in the 60s.
Yeah.
Get Peyton Reed to do it. He's a Marvel guy. And then just at the end, for some fucking reason, they time travel forward. Yeah. Just have one film where they're in the 60s for a couple of hours. And then if you got to do it, have them time travel. Have Peyton Reed do it. That film will slap.
Have the Peyton Reed who did the first two Ant-Man films do it, though. Not the Peyton Reed who's done this last one. Just bring it down a little bit. Get Edgar Wright to do it.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, I mean, he's too busy directing McDonald's commercials.
Oh, is he?
Oh, I put that in the boy chat the other day, but I can redo it.
We'll check that out.
It is something.
Wow.
What's this?
Edgar Wright has directed the new McDonald's commercial.
Is it set in the 1960s?
No, but it features music most prominently associated with a film from the 80s.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna check that out after this. Yeah.
I don't know what to think about that. It's just Edgar Wright needed some money and seems to be having trouble getting films made at the moment.
Yeah, I've still. I can't believe at this point I haven't watched Last Night in Soho. I have hovered over that film so many
That's
times.
fucking nuts. You still haven't seen it?
No, I don't know what it is. It's just I was really interested, really wanted to see it, and then the response to it was middling, and I just sort of went, oh, okay then.
Pull trigger. Do it.
It's worth it, yeah?
I really like it. I think
Yeah,
it's
you
really good.
did like it, didn't you?
I think it's a really good commentary on misogyny.
Excellent. Well, I like how
But done in a really good, creepy way with death.
Excellent. I mean, I'll watch the McDonald's advert first, obviously. And
obviously, just get into an Edgar Wright place.
Isn't some of that film set in the 1960s as well?
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, well, I'm in then, aren't I?
I mean, to be fair, the best bits of that film are set in the 1960s.
Perfect.
The stuff in the 60s, I kind of don't have a problem with.
It's Thomas and Mackenzie sounding like I'm Thomas and Mackenzie, and I'm very, very fragile.
Well, she's haunted by like stuff.
I am haunted by stuff, but I also come from Dorset, so I don't know about things. But I've come to the big city, and I'm very scared.
Weirdly, that is a really good impression, actually.
You're being really mean to Thomas and Mackenzie now. Where's this
Really good impression, though.
No, it's not. I don't think it is, but this is how she sounds in everybody's minds.
Gosh.
Sorry. So, I mean, it is a little bit mean, but she's bad in that film. So, hey.
Fully disagree.
Anya Taylor-Joy, good. Thomas and Mackenzie, not so much. Sorry. Maybe we need to do a commentary of Last Night in Soho. Do you remember that when we had free time and we could do things like that?
It's about 10 years ago now, so not really.
I did a commentary of Blair Witch 2 with Miles from Show back in the day. A commentary of Blair Witch 2.
Yeah.
We did it like Saturday night at 2 a.m. Anyway. So it's an interesting movie. No, how long do we have you for?
I'm good. I can hang as long as you'll have me. I'm right.
Oh shit! All right. Well, I don't know. I've got again multiple films for what we've been watching, but I'm wondering whether we kind of go around the room a little bit. If we maybe go around the room and just pass over to someone when you feel it's appropriate. I'm gonna let you guys judge the mood in the room. So, but Noel, go on, hit us. What have you been watching lately?
I've had a good week actually. I've watched a fair few random things. There's one I'm gonna throw back at you though, because I know you watched it as well.
Ooh.
Skinamarink.
Oh shit.
So I've had a long time to think about Skinamarink, and my overall takeaway is that when they made this film, the director was thinking, if the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. If the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. If the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
Shit.
That was the thought process behind the making of Skinamarink.
Oh shit.
The scariest movie ever made.
Is it the latest one of those?
Oh, fuck.
It really is, yeah. And do you know what? Like, all right, on a serious note, so I think we watched the trailer for Skinamarink quite a while ago, and I think we talked about it on WhatsApp a little bit, and I think I might have said that it looked really interesting.
I put the trailer in the WhatsApp and was like, I want to watch the fuck out of this.
Same here, yeah. And I think I'd forgotten about it until you mentioned you'd mentioned it again in the group, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. And then I noticed there was a couple of articles online, scariest movie ever made and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it the right way. Everybody's in bed. Wait till everybody's in bed. I'm going to whack it up on the projector, stick the headphones on, really sort of immerse myself in it. And just whatever it is whatever it is. I think what I will say is I think to a degree, some of the comments that people have made about it being, almost like a childhood nightmare and all that type of thing, I think there's kind of something in that. But I would say that anybody who says that probably didn't have a very good imagination as a child. My childhood nightmares were quite, there was scary shit in my childhood nightmares. Like there were monsters and scary things. This feels a little bit more like almost like the memory of sleepwalking or something. What it feels like to sleepwalk. And a 2-hour movie about what it feels like to sleepwalk is just not a very interesting concept, I don't think. There's something in the mood of it, but I think if you're going to create that mood and you're going to create that sense of tension needs to lead somewhere, and I just don't think this did.
So the writer director Carl Edward Ball has made a bit of a name for himself online by people submit their nightmares to him, and then apparently he makes short films and puts them on YouTube. So Carl Edward Ball, if you're listening, first off, sorry not sorry for what I'm about to talk about, but also here's a childhood nightmare. I'm in a bowling alley and I'm bowling and there's a werewolf, and then the werewolf attacks me and I run outside, and then the Blues Brothers fly down and then they pick me up. Yep. And they sing to me, and then they drop me, and then I wake up. And the thing is, right, for a period, I was convinced I had regular, recurring nightmares that ended with the Blues Brothers flying in and saving me.
Okay, can I be Kyle Edward Ball in this scenario?
Sure.
Okay. Ian, thank you for submitting your nightmare. I'm really interested in your story. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. What I was thinking, I was just going to make a couple of changes. Instead of we're not going to be able to get the rights to the Blues Brothers, so we're going to take that out of there. Yeah. Obviously, we're pretty tight on a budget, so the werewolf, I think that's going to have to go. I like the idea of it being set in a bowling alley, but what if all the lights were off in the bowling alley and it was 3 o'clock in the morning and there was nobody else there? Mm-hmm. Does that sound close to your nightmare?
I mean, having watched Skinamarink, Kyle, I've got one note that I think you'll like.
Go on.
If for about 10 minutes there can be a shot of a bowling pin, but you just see like the very top of it right towards the bottom of the frame.
Ian? We're going to make a movie.
I mean, so, but yeah, thank you, Carl. I thought Skinamarink was dog shit. And it was so very, very boring. And it felt like Carl Edward Ball was just like, every 25 minutes or so, I'm just going to have a random loud noise or a scream to wake the fucking dickheads who are falling asleep because they don't get me up.
Like the Joseph Gordon-Levitt gong in.
Do you know what? Actually, fuck me, Mark. This is as if Joseph Gordon-Levitt grew up a horror fan and made a film. It, like, honestly, and the thing is, yes, okay, you got these expectations, the most terrifying thing, blah, 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 the new Blair Witch, blah, blah, blah. It feels to me like if this is what people are getting scared by now, that we truly are done as a society. It made me feel old.
I think that's important. There's a whole. I went down a Google rabbit hole trying to find out what creepypasta was, because a lot of the references that people were making to this, Becky might probably know what creepypasta is, like, because so I mean, I think Slenderman is a reference point there, but it's so it's this idea of like sort of online ideas, and so it's urban legends for the millennial generation, I guess. But yeah, I think that's probably an important thing to point out there as well. There might be a generational thing here that maybe this just feels like lo-fi YouTube horror, and maybe we're just used to getting a little bit more out of our horror and seeing a little bit more.
And yeah, I mean, hey, if I don't know, it's hard because it's that whole kind of thing when you get older, and like as you get older, supposedly you get more small c conservative, like just in general opinions. And I kind of almost feel like this is an example of that, like happening with my like horror tastes or something like that, where it's like if other people find this scary, maybe I just need to go, yeah, all right, fair enough. I don't, but that's cool. But I just so want to go, how the fuck do you find this scary? But if other people have grown up with like these other experiences and different external stimuli, then who am I to say, fuck you for thinking this is scary? But at the same time, it's not like Kyle Edward Ball is 12 years old. I'm sure he's not. I don't know how old he is, but I'm sure he's at least in his 20s. And there's at least a little bit of a Venn diagram there of things that people think are scary in their early 20s, things that people think are scary in their late 30s, or in Noel's case, mid 20s. And I'd like to think that there is at least some Venn diagram there. But here, it's like Carl Edward Ball's things that he finds scary. Okay, what? Random loud noises. In a way, I suppose everybody finds that scary. But then other than that, public domain 50s cartoons, dialogue that sometimes you can't hear and isn't subtitled. It sometimes, ceilings. Literally, the one thing that I found a bit ominous was that random voice going, "Stick the knife in your eye." And it was like, shit, all right, shit's going to get real. And then it didn't.
No, and I think that's it. There's like, it's important to say, like, going into this, I wanted to enjoy it. I really wanted to. And even when it started, I kind of went, all right, after, I think you messaged after like the first 20 minutes, you're like, is this what it is for the whole thing? I think in that first 20 minutes, I was like, all right, is this what this is going to be? Okay, I'm going to settle into it then. And there was a couple of moments throughout the film, and I'm thinking particularly of the moment where one of the kids goes upstairs and is being told to look under the bed by one, and there's a real build up of tension there. And I'm like, at that point, I was like, oh, right, okay, this is like, I could feel like my heart racing a little bit and going, okay, this is what I'm here for. But it just turns into nothing. Yeah. And you just sort of get, it's like, and if you're going to do that, the unfortunate thing is, as a viewer, that the worst thing you can do to me in a horror movie is blue balls me over and over again. Like, I can get into the mood and I can get into the atmosphere, but if you're gonna blue balls me multiple times, I'm gonna get pissed off eventually.
And I mean, like by the end of it, it's making clear that it's almost like this existential terror that it's trying to portray, like the idea of being trapped in this thing. But also, I'll be honest, and you got two young kids yourself. I'm just thinking, if Lottie was in this situation, she'd
switch the lights on.
There is 100%. And just like, these kids are actually relatively dealing with it in quite a chill way. And it's just like, I don't think that Carl Edward Ball has experience of, or anybody who helped him with this film has experience of parenting kids of this age, because I genuinely don't think it's realistic behavior. And again, this is the thing, as like, if I was watching this as like a 20-something or a teen, I wouldn't remember what it was like when I was like 6 years old necessarily. And I don't have any experience of parenting. So I'm in that sweet spot of I don't know what this perspective is, but the idea of it sounds scary.
Maybe that's the difference then. Maybe you might have nailed it there, actually. It might be that if you are of a certain age whereby your childhood seems distant enough that you don't remember it properly, but you're not old enough to have children of your own and see what, be reminded what their nightmares and their night terrors are like. Well, Charlie will wake up in the night and he'll go, I dreamt this and then this happened and then that happened and then this happened. He doesn't wake up and tell me, well, I dreamt I was walking around the living room for 2 hours and there was Lego everywhere, and then somebody told me to come upstairs, and then I went back downstairs, and then everything went quiet. And like, do you know what I mean? There's a level of detail involved with childhood nightmares.
And by the end of it, I felt just a palpable sense of ennui and just existential dread. I mean, Charlie doesn't say that. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skinamarink. There you go. Scariest movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think it's dog shit, but at the same time, I don't know, it just gave me a bit of an insight into, if I don't find it scary, but weirdly enough, people who are like 10, 15 years younger than me do find it scary. Fair enough.
It's also another one of those films that, and again, thinking of Becky again, like I'd be interested to know what other horror fans think of it, because I didn't like it, but I'd be interested to know if other people have completely different, because I clearly, other people are having completely different opinions of it.
Give it a watch. You gonna watch it with me?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah. We'll report back next week.
There we go. I look forward to that.
I've tried not to listen too much so I didn't spoil myself. When you like hum in your head.
Good.
There's Lego. Sorry.
There's not a lot to spoil, but
okay.
No. Anything else you felt naturally inclined to talk about at this point? I'm letting things flow.
I watched a film called Pie Wacket, which was on Shudder, which is
Pie Wacket.
Pie Wacket.
Right, great name.
It's a sort of Shudder, relatively low budget horror movie set in the woods. A girl basically is having difficulty with her mother after her father died, and she's interested in the occult and heavy metal music, which obviously corrupts the youth. And then she kind of sort of does a curse, and it all sort of starts to go wrong from there. It's okay, it's decent. I watched a film called Zero Fucks Given, based purely on the title, I'll be honest. And it's kind of a slice of life thing about a woman who is an airline pilot an airline hostess trying to get on with her life. And do you know what? Not an awful lot happens in the film, but the lead actress is so interesting that it makes it really worth watching. It's basically just the story of a woman dealing with her job and dealing with the stresses of her life in relation to that job. And as I say, it's kind of the central performance that keeps you going and keeps you plodding through it. It's on Mubi. Mubi looks great on my projector for some reason, so I do keep tapping up Mubi every now and again as well. Definitely worth a watch. And the final one I'll mention, I'll watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That was fun. But I won't talk about that because you've probably talked about that anyway.
No, you thought it was good though, yeah?
Yeah, it's great. I think the only thing I was slightly disappointed about was that Wild at Heart Nick Cage is in it, but I kind of could have done with a couple more cameos.
Yeah,
it would have been nice to see Cameron Poe in there and a couple of other sort of random Nick Cage performances thrown in there. But it was good fun, and what's he called?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. There we go. Pedro Pascal's great in it. He remains one of the most interesting faces in Hollywood at the moment. Like just that sort of we don't. He's a handsome man, but he's kind of sort of ugly as well, and we kind of
it's
don't.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
The Javier Bardem theory.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there's something wrong there. Like it's like
His face is a little bit scrunched.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't have enough, like, in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, those actors were 10 a penny. Whereas nowadays, an actor.
Everyone's just pretty, aren't they?
Everyone's
skin
attractive
jobs.
now. Yeah. Whereas, Pedro Pascal is
Pascal's got a
very
bit of
attractive.
character.
But
Yeah.
there's something going on in the face that makes him more interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I really enjoyed him, and he also he's very good at comedy. So that's great, and he gets to do that a lot in this.
I absolutely fucking loved Unbearable Weight.
Yeah.
I'll rewatch that.
I can't believe it took me this long as well. It's another one of those. But
yeah.
Final one from me is a movie I mentioned in the chat yesterday when I watched it. It's the latest Blumhouse Peacock kind of lower budget Blumhouse thing. Went up on Peacock this week, I think. It's called Sick. And it's written and produced by Kevin Williamson of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and a bunch of others. And oh my God, can you tell? And it's just this. So basically, it's set against the backdrop of COVID. Some really nice stuff at the beginning, which reminds. This is going to sound weird, but it sort of reminds you of the things that you'd forgotten about that time. So just like little things like arrows on the floor in supermarkets and just people being a little bit shitty with other people about like not wearing masks, people being like overly cautious with like hand gel and stuff. There's just these little moments in that first half hour that really sort of remind you of that time and set things up nicely. But from there it ends up as two teenage girls go to a house in the woods, a big log cabin, and then you sort of get into Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of territory. And yeah, it's visually, it reminds you a lot of Scream. Tonally, there's a lot of Scream and post-Scream stuff in there. And then the way the film contextualizes itself later with sort of, giving the killer a reason to do what the killer is doing is also kind of Screamish. And honestly, I watched it and I was a bit like, oh, yeah, this is a 3-star. And then by the end of the credits, as I was sort of writing something up on Letterboxd, I was like, you know what, actually, that was a 4-star. That was I had a very good time with that. It's less than 90 minutes as well. I think it's like let me have a look here. I can't remember what the runtime is, but I think it's something
83.
like 83. Yeah, 83
Oh,
minutes. So,
Tight
yeah.
is that?
fuck.
Nice and tight. It looks good. It's a lot of fun. It's got an ending that ties itself up quite nicely. Definite recommend. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Well, that's it for me.
That sounds really good, actually.
Honestly,
that's it. And that's it, Noel.
that's it, mate. That's it.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I tell you what, I've got a fair few things this week, so I'm thinking maybe I'll do a few and then hand over.
Sure.
I've got one.
Okay, so in the chat, I just mentioned something that maybe I'll hand over on, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, so I'm just going to go with it.
Yep. Nope.
So, okay, cool. So, sorry, those are noises. So, actually, I will start with a film that. So, in my what do I need to watch for the rest of this year, I scour people's lists. One of the lists that I scoured was Noel Mellor's.
Uh-oh.
And in that list, I saw a film called Meet Cute.
Yay!
So, Meet Cute is a Peacock original in the US, Amazon Prime original in the UK, which is where I found this. So Donna and I were looking for something to watch the other night, and I was like, trawling through. I was like, fuck, that's on Amazon Prime. Right, okay. Don, here's the synopsis. And she was like, yep, go on then. So, Meet Cute, it's Kaylee Cuoco and Pete Davidson. And the letterboxd synopsis actually deals with it quite well. A wildly inventive deconstruction of the romantic comedy built around the question, what would you do if you could travel to your loved one's past, heal their traumas, fix their problems, and change them into the perfect partner? So, which I think is actually a bit more of an insight into the film than the trailer is. The trailer basically makes it as a Kaylee Cuoco is kind of almost like stuck in a Groundhog Day loop. Yes. Where she's just having she needs to have the perfect date with Pete Davidson. The film, gets pretty fucking deep and is, all about, why is she so fixated on having the perfect date? And exploring, that point. And it's like the opening of the film, it's like the credits playing while it's like her walking along and looks on her face. And those looks on her face are kind of informed by what comes later on. And it's a really fucking, at times genuinely funny. But what I really got out of it was just this melancholy vibe. It feels like a romantic comedy for people who would just really just have anxiety. And
it feels like it's saying a lot about modern dating as well.
And this Donna said afterwards, and talking about something else, but referenced this. It's just modern dating looks fucked up, just terrifying. And it is absolutely that.
Yeah.
And I Kaylee Cuoco, she had a bit of a hit with the flight assistant or the flight attendant. It's done a couple of seasons, and she's had this, and it's obviously she came to fame for The Big Bang Theory, probably has enough money to live the rest of her life very happily. But I like that she's doing things like this and the flight attendant, and I kind of wish that she was a bigger star than she is, because I think the dramatic moments in this she fucking nails. And also Pete Davidson's really good in this, and he's not just funny on it Pete Davidson all the time. Sorry, no, go on, mate. Yeah. I mean,
I was just gonna say that I think it sounds like you went into this film for the same reasons that I went into it, where I was a bit okay, this is on Prime. It's got Kaylee Cuoco in. I like Kaylee Cuoco. It's got Pete Davidson in. I like Pete Davidson. This is a time loop rom-com. This is going to be fun. I'm going to have a nice time. And it starts off very funny, and you're enjoying Pete Davidson and the stuff that's happening with her, and there's something going on there. And then the change happened. There's a certain point where a few dates in, there's a change happen, and you sort of go, oh shit, no, this is about control. This is about her inability to control him. And the whole thing about modern dating as well, I think, is a really interesting subtext to it, where it's the concept of being in the dating game and meeting the same person over and over again, but them not being, you can't change, you can't shape them to be the thing that you want. So you just go on another date and try and shape the date. And I think that would be very, very interesting if the gender roles were reversed, but it'd also be a little bit weird and creepy. It's almost more interesting the fact that you see it with the gender roles being what they are, where it's Kaylee Cuoco's character who is looking for control. And I think there's a moment, I think it's on the Staten Island ferry or something, where there's a look on Pete Davidson's face, and you cannot Pete Davidson starts the film as Pete Davidson, but at some point halfway through he becomes this almost like a straight guy, but there's a look on his face at a certain point, and he looks tired and exhausted, and it's oh fuck, no, this is actually really kind of brutal.
Is this kind of before the kind of the sequence of her repeating
on the bridge? I think it is.
Yeah.
So it's just before that, and it's just I think at that point I was fuck me, this film is actually about so much more than what it's selling itself as. And I can't remember what I put it as, but it's in my top 15 of the year. It's something like 12 or something like that. But just a real surprise and just very entertaining, but also gives you a lot more than you probably expecting.
And it's annoying in a way, because it's like, it feels like if it didn't debut directly on Peacock in the US and it had a bit more of attention towards it, I think a lot more people would be talking about it.
Yeah.
It feels like a rom-com, but the kind of rom-com drama, because the com does disappear. For people like today, it feels like something that younger millennials and Gen Z would vibe with.
I'm definitely moving up my list.
Yeah, honestly, like, it was just interesting, and I never thought I was going to say that about that film.
I will recommend that. I'll recommend the hell out of this film to anybody who'll listen. Honestly, it's one of those films. I think it surprises me a lot that, I say this as somebody who's not really on social anymore, but like, it surprises me that I've not heard more people talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Very much agree. Yeah, Meet Cute, bit of a banger. Okay, I rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because so I'm doing just a tiny couple films prep before Babylon. So I thought, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, about Hollywood. Hey, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's insanely entertaining. I think the fact that it's quite episodic in nature, I think maybe helps that runtime go down a bit smoother. There's a 10-minute section here, there's a 15-minute section there, there's a 20-minute section there, and it does break it up, but super entertaining. DiCaprio's great. I can kind of see why Brad Pitt, especially considering he'd never won an Oscar for it. But also, I mean, like, Margaret Qualley, is very, very good in that role. Robbie, I mean, I was kind of surprised with Margot Robbie. I forgot how little she actually is in the film. She basically disappears for the last third. But I like that they spend time with her to kind of go, this was Sharon Tate. And I know the film, Tarantino got shit from the Bruce Lee estate about the portrayal of Bruce Lee. I do like, though, how much he's like, Sharon Tate was cool and she was fun and she really enjoyed people enjoying her work. It is a bit of a celebration of Sharon Tate. And I enjoy that immensely. It's a very, 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 very satisfying film that we've spoken about a lot on the show, and it just absolutely is still the same. Last thing before I hand over, and it's not a film, but Bex, I'm gonna say it. I've slightly changed my mind on it, and I think that maybe let's just check in on how it's going as the series unfolds. I think I'm going to do it.
Were you not going to do it?
No, I wasn't. I was going to...
Seriously?
Yep.
That's mind-blowing to me as someone that loves you are someone that loves the game. And
yeah.
For you to wow,
sorry,
I didn't know that. When you sent that message today, I thought you just meant, I can't remember what you said exactly, but I thought you were meaning that, like, you'd be more in if it was a film, but you were still going to do the series. But
no, I was. So we're talking about The Last of Us, just to be clear. And,
we haven't said that, had we?
Yeah. So I'd watched it and I was like, I don't really need this in my life. So we've talked about Twin Peaks: The Return on the show, which was film related. But you know, it's a joint Bex and I production on this part of the show. So yeah, Last of Us episode 1, obviously based on the video game. Noel, you've not watched this, have you?
No, I've been in two minds about it. Like on the one, like, so when you say that you were thinking about not bothering, is that stress levels?
It's not the quality of the show.
Okay, I've been in two minds again. It is Pedro Pascal, isn't it? Is it?
It
Pedro?
is, yeah.
Okay.
Please watch it now. I'd love to know what you think.
I might do, because the thing is I was, I think, you know, in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to play The Last of Us. So when I heard there was a series, I was like, oh, well, I'll play the game first. But realistically, it's probably not going to happen for many, many years. So
to be fair, it's so faithful that it's essentially like passively watching someone play the game.
Okay.
But it's like in the bits where it's not faithful,
it's just adding.
It feels like either adding or it makes sense why they didn't ... So just as a brief example of that, in the show, it's in the game, it's spores. So it oftentimes in the game, you're wandering around places and there's like these like dust particles around them. They got these gas masks on.
Right. Okay.
In the film, in the TV show, it appears to be more like some sort of tendressy fungal thing that infects people, and then the people spread it through grooves in their mouths. Are we thinking, Bex? I don't think it's been fully explained yet, but the old lady with the thing in her mouth.
Yeah, she's got like tentacle type things coming out of her mouth, hasn't she?
Yeah. So it's, and that feels more like, okay, it's a TV show, we're going to go with that and not just spores.
I think that'll get explained better as we go through. I think we might still get some spores because they had that mouldy man lying, didn't they?
Yes, even though apparently, actually not apparently, the creatives were interviewed and they basically said they didn't want to have people just like with masks on talking to each other through scenes, which kind of makes sense. But also apparently, Pedro Pascal was just like, yeah, can we do something where I'm not doing a show where I've got a mask on?
Look at my pretty but not really pretty face. We don't need this.
The world needs to see my ugly but sort of handsome face.
Yeah. No, but apparently that was actually some sort of like, could we ... And I think I actually think it makes sense, because you would have people just going like through multiple scenes in it. So I kind of get it.
Do you know one bit I really did love, just while I remember? There's a bit where the bit where in the game you have to push like a bookcase aside to get into a passageway, and then it takes them to the other part of town when they're chasing
they first meet Ellie, and it's like, right, fucking move the book. Oh no. But before they first, when they're looking for Robert and they have to go from one building to another. It's different in this, isn't it? But they go into a building to then find a hole and climb up between the walls or something, don't they? But when they get in through the door initially and they close the door behind them, they both hunker down and like start strapping stuff in their bags. And in the game, if you need to do anything, he does that, doesn't he? Down. Like he hunkers down and gets like his first aid kit out or whatever. I loved
that little touch. It was brilliant.
They've got those nods, and it's like the image at the end of the first episode. If you played the game, you know what that is. If you've watched the TV show, it's like, shit, that's an interesting image. It kind of works on both levels there. So it's so this first episode, 80 minutes long, was supposed to be 2 episodes. But apparently the first episode, I don't think there's much of a spoiler without context. The first episode was going to end with Joel throwing the thing in the fire. Is it a fire or is it a bin? There is a body that he throws in a bin.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it was just going to end there.
When they're burning the bodies and and it's the little boy. Yeah.
And it was going to end there. And I listened to so this show has a podcast, and I listened to the podcast. And if you haven't listened to it, it's Troy Baker interviewing Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin.
Okay.
So it's really, really good, actually. So Troy Baker, the guy
Is
who
it
played
just
Joel
The Last of
in
Us?
the game. The Last of Us podcast. Yeah, it's like an HBO Max podcast.
Okay.
They didn't go with the cast of Us.
Oh,
Come on.
that would have been
Think
good.
these things through.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's good. And they were basically saying, if we cut it there as like 2 episodes, you basically wouldn't have met Ellie, and the end of the first episode would have just been like a really traumatic
Downer, yeah.
well, shit, that's how it's going to go, is it? So absolutely understand. But yeah, look, first episode in, the first half hour of the show.
Can we talk about the first 5 minutes of the show before we do that?
Oh,
I thought
wow,
that was great.
we're going deep. All right, yeah. So the first 5 minutes of the show is something that is not in the game at all, and is a rework. Basically, explains a reworking of what has caused the whole thing.
Yeah, because I don't think in the game you ever really get an explanation of why did this happen all of a sudden, do you?
No.
It's just you just planted in the middle of the action and off you go kind of thing.
And do you know what loads of gamers are going to like? Because gamers are really left-wing and liberal. They're famously liberal and like everything liberal. Do you know what's caused it all in the TV show? Climate change, baby.
But that's so clever. It's just like
It makes sense.
Yeah,
the way
that's
they
fine.
explain it makes perfect sense.
I loved that they added that first bit. It was like when I messaged to say that it started off strong and sent you a Rick and Morty gif, that was all I had watched at that point, and I was just like, fuck yes. So if they're changing things, they're changing them well. I like this.
Yeah, so you got that, and then the theme, the title sequence has the theme tune from the original, from the game, which fucking rules.
Yes.
And then
and the graphics are the same as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah. And then the next 25 minutes or so is basically the first 10 minutes of the game, but they kind of flesh things out a little bit more. Won't spoiler it, but the girl who plays Sarah is Tandy Newton's daughter.
Is it?
So there was a part of me that was like, yeah, fair enough, when the thing happens.
Wow.
But also, poor Joel.
I thought she was a really good Sarah.
Yeah, she was.
I thought that how faithfully that stuck to stuff that was in the game, but also, like you say, fleshed it out a little bit so you see what they're doing when they're not. I mean, the Sarah bit in the game is essentially like a controls tutorial, isn't it? It's like teaches you how to walk around and look around and things like
how
this.
To die.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you know, obviously, so for the TV show, they've had to pad it out and give her a little bit more character, even though it's gutting when she dies in the game anyway. But I can't remember where I was going with that.
But no, I mean, like you've got so like in the game, the next door neighbor comes in and attacks at one point. You get a bit more context with the next door neighbors. There's a fucking terrific bit where the girl is in the foreground. There's a woman, like basically a woman who cannot move in the background suddenly starts jerking about, and like it's like some proper fucking horror shit.
Yeah.
And it plays that out really, really well.
But yeah, the bit where they're escaping in the truck is basically beat for beat from the game, isn't it?
I mean, shit, you've even got the perspective of it's behind her, looking in the back seat, looking at them in the front seat, which is exactly what it does in the game.
Yeah, and in the game you can move from window to window and look at different things, can't you? And she does that in the TV show. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of almost feel like maybe we need to do a bit of a deep dive, like in another show, and just like really, really get into it. I don't know, but
that's what I was going to say.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna dive. Like I probably will bite on this.
Go on.
I'd happily listen to a section of the show that was dedicated to this every single week. So
just us getting giddy about The Last of Us.
yeah, because you'll give the game context that I will never get, which is good. One question though, because I was literally asked this today, because I asked a room full of students if they'd watched it and what their opinion was, because I literally have been on the fence about it. And the gamer in the room, I think, asked me, is it all based on game one, or are they blending it all together and just seeing where it goes?
So
because I'm aware that something happens at the beginning of game 2, it changes everything.
Apparently, so there are little Easter eggs to things that they reference in part 2, but not in terms of plot. So like there's a DVD that Sarah borrows, which is that film is then talked about in part 2. But in terms of actual plot, so like something and Viper 2, Bex. Yeah. So, but in terms of the actual plot and whatnot, no. Apparently, this season is the game and the add-on for the game called Left Behind.
Oh, it's good. It's Left Behind as well.
Yeah, Get Left Behind is ace. But like part 2, the thing is, it's going to be interesting because part 2 happens like 4 years later. And I almost feel like could season 2 do some bridging stuff that the game has never done.
Like the gap between the let them all grow up a bit.
That would be awesome. And also, quite frankly, if they were filming next year, I don't think Bella Ramsey would look old enough.
No, God no.
Well, if you want to get multiple seasons out of it as well, if you think about how long The Walking Dead went for, and it's you know, that will be on their minds to eke it out a little bit more, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Well, there is scope to do that as well, because like, you know, it's a bit of a jump between game 1 and game 2. There is a bit of like, hang on, how did they get from that point to this? You know, it would be nice to have that filled in.
Yeah, I honestly, I think they're going to do that.
That would be good.
Because also, spoiler alert for The Last of Us Part 2, if they want to have Pedro Pascal in multiple seasons, or at least in multiple bits of multiple seasons, they're going to want him to be in a season 2.
Oh, he's so good as Joel. It's like, all the casting just seems bang on as well. I was a bit worried about Bella Ramsey, but she's got the attitude down.
They apparently they have. Sorry, I don't want to piss anybody off.
Okay. I don't know who.
That's how they identify. Bella Ramsey identifies as they. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know whether you were referring to Pedro Pascal or Bella Ramsey.
No, yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't just doing that to be a
No.
But yeah, like Marlene, the casting for Marlene's really good. Tess is really good. Marlene.
I've got to say, Tess, right? So it's Anna Torv from Fringe and Mindhunter. Yes, I would also do anything that she says.
Big MILF energy.
Yeah.
Like massive, like post-apocalyptic. Yeah, fine, absolutely. What do I need to do to help you out? Vibes from her. Yes, sorry.
But that's the thing on an aesthetic level. She's nothing like Tess, but it's not just about finding people that fucking look like the people in the games. It's people that can embody the characters, and I think all the ones that they've cast do that really, really well.
And I mean, Marlene is Marlene from The Last of Us. It's the same actress.
Is it that does the voice?
Yeah. Which is ace. But that's not to take away from your point. They've gone for people who can embody the characters, not just look like the characters. Like Bella Ramsey doesn't really look like
anything
Ellie.
like Ellie. No.
Pedro
She's
Pascal
got brown hair.
does. Yeah, Pedro Pascal doesn't look like Joel.
Not miles away though.
Yeah, it's not miles away, but he doesn't look like him. He's beardy.
Yeah, he's beardy and a bit gruff.
And his face is squashed.
Squished, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Gabrielle Luna as Tommy, but we've not spent much
He's
time
got
with
the
him
voice
yet.
down. He's got the voice down. And he's Mike's boy. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I will say is he's not come into it yet, but casting on an aesthetic level, they have got Bill's casting completely 100% right if you're going for look.
Is that Offerman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if they were going for look with this Joel cat, what's the guy called from Game of Thrones? He looks like
Pedro
him.
Pascal?
No, the guy from close.
Well, he's in Game of Thrones, isn't he?
The guy from Game of Thrones who plays the brother who was shagging his sister.
Oh shit, Nikolai Calder.
Yeah, Nikolai Coster-Waldau. Yeah. Visually, he would have worked.
He looks a lot like Tommy looks in the game.
He does. Oh shit, he does.
Mm.
Oh,
I've remembered what I was going to say earlier when I lost my thread. So that's when we were talking about the first section and how like it's the first 10 minutes of the game, but it's the first like half hour of the show. If they're going to be doing that, it's when you sent that message through the other day, Mark and I had a lengthy discussion about whether it would be better as a movie or a TV series. It's a big game, and you can't. I don't think you can fit all of what this can do in a movie.
So Druckmann references in that podcast I talked about that they were going to do it as a movie, and it was going to be Screen Gems, like the Sony kind of genre division doing it. And it's like, no, you actually can't. I don't know what The Last of Us looks like as a 2-hour film.
No, I don't think this condenses. And the thing is as well, like, I like that it's a really long game because I like spending time in that world doing bits and bats and try to fucking shoot a deer, and like that whole bit in the town is really it's meaty. It's a meaty section of the game, and it's a long section of the game. But I don't want it to be a shorter game and get through the story because I'm enjoying playing the game and being in the world. And I kind of feel like the same way about the TV show. I want to spend as much time with these characters in this world doing this thing for as long as possible.
That's it. Shit, yeah. All right. Noel's just sent a screenshot of Tommy, a very high res screenshot, and yes, that is Gerard Butler. But yeah, it's
Sent to what?
So
Oh, sorry, it's in the chat, but he's right. It is a very high res image, so you'll probably have to download it and check it out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about episode 2 next week, but episode 2 is directed by Neil Druckmann. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the guy who basically created The Last of Us can do with directing a TV show of The Last of Us.
The fact that he's so heavily involved gives me great faith in this show, to be honest. Absolutely.
Co-showrunner. Like he's absolutely all over it, and that's terrific. Yeah, no, I just actually, yeah, I think given that you are slightly more disposed to TV than I am anyway, I feel like this is like really, really good shit for you.
I've got room at the moment. I'm kind of in a horror groove. It feels like a win for me. This,
yeah, definitely. Did you watch the end of the credits, Ian?
No.
There's like a bit of a what to expect from this season section at the end of the credits.
Oh fuck, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'll watch that on the old Now TV.
And I'll watch the end of the credits.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
this is
yeah,
so exciting.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, listen to her. It's nice. Okay, so Bex, what have you been watching?
Okay, so the only film that I watched on my own was the 1987 Stephen Dorff movie, The Gate.
Love it. Love it.
So they were talking about this the other day on the Kingcast that I listened to. I can't remember
Becky Bingo.
In what context. Well, I'm not listening to this week's because they're doing one that was never a book. What the fuck is the point in that?
I don't know.
No. Anyway, they were talking about it and I was like, I like Stephen Dorff. That sounds like an interesting film. Demons and shit. I'll give it a watch. Never seen it before. And I watched the trailer and it's kind of like one of those 1980s kids movies that are a bit too scary really probably for if they came out now. But yeah, the trailer, the effects that were kind of on display, I was like, this looks like some real practical skill has gone into making this movie. And there's like little tiny weird demons that look like they're made out of clay. And like there's a bit where a man falls over and he hits the floor and like splits off into loads of these little demons, and they all run away.
It's Big Joe Dante vibes as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's little tiny baby Stephen Dorff. Why does Stephen Dorff not have a neck in this movie though? His head's like right on top of his shoulders. It's really fucking weird. He has a neck now, doesn't he? Maybe he had to grow into his neck.
Maybe.
Anyway, so standard premise: parents go away for a few days and leave the older sibling and the younger sibling, whichever way around it is for the premise. In this case, older sister, younger brother, alone because the older sister's, God, I'm old enough to look after myself, Mum. So did that whole bit, and then they find a geode buried in a hole in the back garden and crack it open, and Stephen Dorff bleeds a bit near it. The geode has made some weird message come up on like one of those magnetic things you used to be able to write on.
An Etch-a-Sketch.
Kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, but like more basic than that. They used to have one and you used to be able to write on it with like coins and stuff.
Kind of
yeah.
An etch.
Sure. Anyway, so it's made some weird message on this, and then him and his bespectacled friend read it out, because obviously you do that because you don't realise that it's an ancient text from the Book of Death or whatever it is, and accidentally summon demons.
Dagnammit.
And then the bespectacled friend realises from a book, like a record sleeve from a satanic metal band that he's been listening to.
He's the metal kid in it.
Yeah. It realises that, oh my God, this is the book that they're referencing in their lyrics, and if you play the record backwards, it tells you how to trap the demon again. So it's all about that, really.
It's the most 1987 movie ever. It's
yeah,
great.
It really is. If I'd known about this prior to Isabel being like a thing, I would have definitely shown her this. This is like right in the kind of vibes of like The Hole and stuff like that as well. Scary enough to just be like good scary, but not too scary.
So this was I actually before Adventures in VHS.
Yeah.
Don't think I covered this in the book, but like this was one of the films that I wrote about for Eat Sleep Live Film in the Rentals Revisited series, because it was one of those movies that I rented on VHS when I was, 1987, so I would have been like 9 or 10 years old. I was 9 or 10 years old in 1987. I was into horror movies, I was into sort of heavy metal and rock music. This film
ticking a lot of boxes then.
This film hit me at the sweetest possible time. So it was absolutely custom designed for me, and I think it's probably a film that some people might watch now and not get as much out of.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here, and like I say, big Joe Dante vibes.
Very, very, very much so. Yeah. I think if you're an 80s kid, these films just hit different, don't they?
Yeah.
There's so much nostalgia with them. Whereas I think if I tried to show 18-year-old Isabel this, she'd really fucking hate it.
Well, I don't even know how it was like sold at the time. Like I think it probably would have been a 15, whereas it's sort of I don't think it was an 18. I'd have to check, but like it probably would have been released as a 15. But really, you kind of want to be watching this at 13, 14, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of things are 15s and 18s. They slip through, don't they? That's what makes them more fun. It's clandestine to watch these things that you really shouldn't be watching.
Well, and that's it. And it's rare that happens now. And going back to Joe Dante and the most obvious comparison with this film, I would not show Charlie The Hole. Like there's moments in that are terrifying.
The bathroom moment.
Yeah.
Like the sequence. Yeah, it's just, no, absolutely. Like
how old is it?
Charlie,
how old are you, mate?
9.
You're 9 years old.
Yeah, nine's maybe a touch young for The Hole. That's we're talking about The Hole, aren't we, with the ghost girl?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say goodnight to Charlie now. Bye, mate.
You want to call it?
Huh?
You want to call it?
Just some friends. Do you want to say hello? Say hello to Mark and Becky and
Hi, Charlie.
Ian.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
All right, night, mate. Stay pros. No. Close the door.
Don't give your mum a hard time. That's what I always tell Lottie. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do that as well.
Yeah, I reckon 11 upwards is probably about right.
Yeah. Especially for today's kids, because they're just a bit weaker.
7.
Yeah, but she's a freak kid and she loved horror. No, not the whole. I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
We said we were responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit irresponsible.
Came out in 2010.
Yeah, we didn't show her it on Relentless.
Yeah.
No, she'd have been
No,
a bit
we
older than
did.
that. No, because we wouldn't have taken it to the fucking cinema.
No, we did.
did
We came out in 2009, and I think I got it on DVD when it came out, and we showed her it.
Did we?
Yeah.
The thing we were talking about this recently because I think sometimes it's not the content, it's the context.
Yeah.
And like I think I was talking to you about it, Ian, about like I'm going to show Charlie Shaun of the Dead because kids are used to seeing zombies nowadays, and the zombie stuff in there, apart from the kill at the end, which involves a little bit of guts, the rest of the tone of the film, yeah, there's some swears in there, yeah, there's a little bit of blood in there, but the tone of the film is what's important, I think. I think he could handle that film quite easily.
Mm. Did you listen to the show that we did just after like Christmas when Isabel was back? And I said that we watched The Brothers Grimm while she was back, and she was telling me about how much it scared her as a kid.
Yeah.
That was weird. That probably showed her that a bit too young. That came out 2005.
But you never know what it is that's going to freak kids out anyway. Like
No.
I think sometimes the stuff that you think is going to freak them out really doesn't. And then it's the stuff that you're not expecting that does.
Well, that's it. Like with Brothers Grimm, the bit that had really freaked her out and that stuck with her was, have you seen it?
I have, but it was a really long time ago, yeah.
There's a bit with a boy and he's stood next to a well and a blob of mud comes up out of the well and gets on him and he turns to mud.
Yeah.
And he's just like walking around squelching. That has stuck with her and really freaked her out. The bit with the fucking dead Monica Bellucci witch in the tower coming back to life and trying to kill people, she's fine with that.
Yeah. But again, like the content versus context thing. Charlie's been watching, again, I've mentioned this elsewhere, but Charlie's been obsessed with a Channel 5 TV series called Police Interceptors.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, he's been watching a lot of it, and it's basically about, coppers chasing down people in cars who've got cars full of drugs and stuff like that. But because he's been enjoying that so much, I've been like, all right, well, we'll download the My5 app on the TV. I'll pollute my TV with the My5 app. And yeah, you can start watching that. It does come up with a disclaimer at the beginning that says, are you over 16? But I'm like, well, I know what he's watching. He's watching Police Interceptors, and he's asking the right questions about it, so it's fine. However,
knowing your own kid, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. However, what I didn't consider was that Channel 5 is an ad-based company, and the ads that he would be served during the breaks of Police Interceptors would include M3gan. So now he's very aware of M3gan, and because he's seen the TV spots and the trailers from M3gan, he's freaked out by the idea of her. So when I mentioned that I was going to see it, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't like it." And I explained to him the next day, I was like, actually, if you watch the whole film, I'm not going to play it for you, but if you watch the whole film, you'd see it's kind of silly and kind of daft.
Yeah.
But the marketing isn't that. The marketing, as we've discussed earlier today, is selling a very different thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's content versus context, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, absolutely love The Gift. Great stuff.
What did you think about The Gate, though?
Oh, The Gate, you fucking hell. The Gate. Yeah, that's probably gonna go into my Christmas rotation for next year when Isabel's back. I'll be like, come and watch this batshit thing. Yeah, so that's the only one that I watched on my own. I've been doing a lot of Stephen King reading this week because I wanted to finish The Stand finally, because I've been reading it a while now, and move on to the Bachman books. So that's my next move. I have finished The Stand, by the way. You may have noticed that it is no longer on the table with a bookmark.
It is no longer on the table with a bookmark in it, yeah.
It has lived there for the last few weeks. Oh, it's a big old book, is the stand.
It's a chunky bastard.
It is a chunky bastard. You could kill someone with that book, I'm sure.
Yes.
Should we do the one we've watched together?
Yeah, can do.
So the only film we watched together this week was Cape Fear.
Yeah.
Randomly.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. I just had a thing when I went, I fancy watching Cape Fear.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think it is one of those ones that, like, you've got to be in the mood for it, but once you get the Cape Fear bug, you really want to watch it. Because I asked you a few months ago, didn't I? Do you fancy rewatching Cape Fear at some point? And you're like, don't know. And then obviously that's wheedled its way into your brain until you were ready.
Yeah.
Ready.
And then I was ready for it.
Ready for it.
Yeah.
Jessica Lange stroking herself. Not in a sexy way, like that bit where she's
Wondering.
talking to him and she's just like stroking her arms and her face and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very odd. It's a very odd physical performance actually from Jessica Lange. There is some weird tics.
I do always love the fact that, because De Niro's performance is purposefully completely fucking
Over the
OTT
top.
in it.
Yeah.
It is a genuinely fantastic performance within it, because you are watching going, I know it's De Niro, but he has absolutely created,
That's not De Niro.
it's Max Cady. It's a
Max
brilliant
Cady,
character that is just from the start out. They go, look, this guy. Do not feel any sympathy for this guy. He's a piece of shit.
Well, and I think the placement in the film of the scene where he assaults and rapes Nick Nolte's co-worker is perfect, because you are just at the point where you're kind of thinking, well, shit, if he was innocent.
Has he been done over? Yeah.
And that, maybe he was innocent of this crime. If she was promiscuous, maybe Nick Nolte's character read it wrong, and then it's like, oh no, he's bitten off part of her face. Amazing.
Yeah.
That scene is fucking horrible. The bit where he dislocates her shoulder and you can see the bone like pushing against it, and it's like slightly blue because it's honestly, that's like that. I said to you, didn't I, when we were watching it, that and the fingernail trauma in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me are the two scenes that I have to look away.
Well, she was cast in the film at De Niro's request, because they were they're friends, and he said, I can't do a scene that is that nasty unless I know the person really, really well.
Yeah.
And so it was like, so he said to Marty, can we cast the list in it, because I feel comfortable doing that scene with her.
I think it's good as well that they leave it completely unambiguous as to what he's done to her, like, because it doesn't show an awful long section of the assault on her.
No.
It shows the shoulder, the face, and then I think it kind of cuts away and it's her bruised in the bed.
Yeah.
But like it just straight up fucking tells you that he's raped her.
Right.
So you can't be thinking, oh well, but
yeah. But the fact that you now go back and look at this film, that De Niro was nominated for an Academy Award for a performance that is as batshit as he goes in this is quite something.
Yeah, that's bonkers actually, especially like the subject matter and genre of the movie as well.
Yeah.
They don't generally get an awful lot of recognition, do they?
No, the fact that this is a straight up psychological horror movie.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah, it's but as well it's Scorsese just fucking having a lot of fun with something as well, and that's what he does. He goes this psychological gothic horror.
Yeah.
I
think the scene with the in the cinema hits a bit different in 2023 as well than it maybe would have done when I first watched it, because when we're in the cinema, if someone's talking or someone's looking at their phone, if I can see you about to lean forward and say something, I get nervous now that people are on such a fucking hair trigger and everyone's such a, pardon the language, cunt now, that it would not surprise me at all if someone just got up and fucking lamped you over asking them to put their phone away. And that it kind of adds a different layer of like tension to that scene, I think. How fucking angry everyone is nowadays.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed our rewatch of Cape Fear.
Yeah, it's very good. I think it's one of those ones that you just have to rewatch and remind yourself of how good it is. Every 5 or 6 years.
How fucking entertaining it is as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a long film. It's over 2 hours long, but it's a lot of fun with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's me out.
That you out.
Unless you want to hear about Stephen King.
I've watched a few on my lonesome. So I've rewatched Day After Tomorrow because it was about time. It's been a while since I watched it.
I'm actually really angry with you that you watched that without me.
I suggested it a couple of days ago and you said, no, you always watch that film.
I'm just gonna very quickly say this is my favourite section of the podcast because it's always the most unpredictable.
Yeah.
Well, strap yourself in. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken quite often about my love for The Day After Tomorrow because I love a weather movie, and yeah.
Sorry,
You do
excuse
love a
me.
weather movie.
It's great. Where shall I go next? I watched The American, the George Clooney, Anton Corbijn movie. Now, it was one of those ones where I think it came out at the height of Clooneyisms. But it was him doing a more kind of it was him starting to go more serious and look, I'm making this quite European feeling film. I don't just do Hollywood films.
Yeah. How is this? Because I've not seen this, but the marketing for it made it look really fucking boring.
Well, the thing is, it's really critically liked, and it did, solid for 20 million budget, and it made near 70 million. So it did well, and critics really liked it, and it had that European kind of sheen to it. That, like I said, was look, this is Clooney not doing Hollywood. Yeah, I prefer Clooney doing Hollywood.
He's got a real Hollywood face.
It didn't click with me. I was watching it going, I can see why people like this. I can see why people vibe with this. I'm really fucking bored. I am really fucking I'm bored. But to the point of where I was actually really hoping that I'd enjoy it more. Yeah, I just really wasn't enjoying it at all. So yeah, there was. Yeah, that is actually. Yeah, so The American. Sorry, I just didn't get on with it. Yeah.
I don't think people did at the time, did they, though?
Remember, it was one of those ones where people who liked it really fucking liked it. And then everybody else who went there going with the intent, that thought they were going to see Hollywood Clooney, were like, that was a bit of hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not made me want to revisit my decision not to watch it and go back.
I didn't get on with it. A movie that I also didn't get on with, but actually liked more than The American. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Is 2017 sex comedy, apparently. The Layover with Alexandra Daddario and Kate Upton.
There it is.
I'm back in the room, baby.
There's the mark drop.
Yeah.
Directed
Classic
by William
man.
H. Macy.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Why?
He's paying his wife's legal bills, I think.
Yeah. Even I, when it came up and it was going through the credits, it's a William H. Macy. Like,
Yeah.
that can't be right.
You have to
So
sort of
surely William J. Macy.
yeah, you have to go to IMDb and check that. Surely there's two William H. Macy's.
And I did check. It's like, fucking it is William H. Macy.
Who is that actor?
I don't know, but in the description, he's a handsome man.
It's
Matt Barr.
Matt Barr. It's skin job number 74.
Wow.
It literally is. We've got no money left, William. So you're gonna have to have this guy. What I will say is,
His IMDb credits are just nothing shit.
well, one of the main problems, there's a couple of problems I had with The Layover, which is a movie I kind of enjoyed. And I will probably end up watching again at some point, even though it's not that good.
I'm so ashamed if you don't know.
There's a few problems with it. One of the problems is he's not that attractive.
No.
Like like when he came on, you're going, all right, here comes hunky fucking guy, and you're gonna get to go, yeah, all right, yeah, that guy looks like he fucks, and you could see why Alexander Daddario and Kate Upton would be battling over him. And then he walks out and I thought, yeah, no.
Do you know what I'm going to say? Maybe it's just the cover of the. I'm going to say poster. It looks more like a DVD cover, but maybe it's just the cover of the poster. But he's got shit eyebrow game.
That and in the cover of that, they have definitely altered his jaw. He's a lot more fucking straight jawed than that. Which no, he's not attractive enough to have those two people battling over him. You see what I mean? You look at a picture of him there, straight jaw, isn't it?
His shirt's creased as well.
What a prick.
What a wanker.
Yeah, just that. But the other bit that kind of made me go, I mean, come on.
He looks like if you can't afford Dan Stevens, but you want someone that looks like a cheap, real cheap Dan Stevens, this is who you'd get.
Yeah. It is the fact that they try and play up Alexander Daddario as a little bit of a plain Jane.
Have they seen her?
And it's like, oh, look at Kate Upton. She's
glamorous and blonde.
She's glamorous. She's blonde.
But when was this my
2017.
That's not even that long ago.
5 years.
In the 2010s, there was a whole if you want a glamorous girl, if girls are coded in movies in that decade as brown hair is boring and plain Jane and blonde is.
Well, that's what this is going for. Kate Upton's all quite, she's sexually forward and she gets an Uber and ends up having sex with the Uber driver because that's all she does is she just fucks anything that moves. And whereas Alexander Daddario, well, she's not that pretty really, is she? And you watch her going, really? Because I would contemplate giving up the lives of one of my family members for a fling with Alexander Daddario.
Would you know?
Yeah, I would. I'd probably give up a nephew.
Is it the eyes?
It's the eyes, yeah.
No, you see, that's the thing. I was just going to say, the Alexandra Daddario thing. I've been aware of her for a long time, but I've only seen her in anything properly recently because we've been watching The White Lotus.
Yeah.
And
what's that like?
It's really good, actually. The first series is very, very good. Second series is pretty good. First series is great.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might give that a go.
Definitely. It's really good. It's really fun. Nice locations as well. But yeah, so I remember seeing her a lot pop up in things. And I think what she was being sold on was her eyes. And I don't know if her eyes are you're supposed to feel like she's, I don't know, staring into your soul or something. She looks to me like she's been looking at an iPad for too long.
Yeah. Have you seen the poster for the new Anne Rice series she's in?
Oh, no.
Mayfair Witches.
Mayfair Witch,
yeah. They're very much playing up the Daddario eyes.
Okay. Well, no, she's great in The White Lotus, and it just shows you that sometimes you don't really get an actor just by looking at them. You need to see them actually emote and do stuff, and she's really good on that. She's great.
What else did lay over? It's not very good, but it's better than The American.
I think that's what they were going for when they did this.
It is. So well done, William H. Mason.
Oh, Jesus.
What? So, swinging to another corner, have you watched The Negotiator? With the Gary Gray movie. With Samuel L. Jackson and Kevin Spacey. You're not really supposed to watch his movies anymore, but I did. And David Morse, who was in all of these thriller movies in the 1990s. He was always it's that guy from every other movie.
Yeah.
There. And also JT Walsh is in it, who is another. Hey, it's that guy from every other.
I like David
Thriller.
Walsh. I see him as like a Stephen King guy.
He is in a lot of Stephen King stuff, actually. Yeah. So The Negotiator, it's a. I mean, the one thing I will say about it is it's 2.5 hours long. So it was watched in my lunch breaks, but over like 3 days because it was 2.5 hours fucking long, which I forgot. But about funny enough, a hostage negotiator played by Samuel L. Jackson, who ends up getting set up by his fellow police officers for the murder of a whistleblower. And so he takes some of the said internal affairs guys hostage. And yeah, it runs out like that. It's really good in the sense that it's quite clever, like what things like Die Hard use, where they can spread the budget by having the majority of the movie set in like 2 little office spaces, so that you can blow it on more action bits that are outside, because you never even realise that the majority of the movie is just literally in an office, which is a really sort of clever way, like I say, of spreading budget. And you're looking at it, it's Samuel L. Jackson playing off against Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey before the ego had taken too much control of him. So he's very good in this. And you've got
to say that it's Batman.
Yeah, but he is good. There's no getting away from it. Kevin Spacey is good in things.
It hurts my soul that I feel guilty watching The Usual Suspects now.
Which is fucking great.
Yeah.
But then you've also got JT Walsh just being the most JT Walsh of characters within this. It is almost like JT Walsh is a little bit like now's Ben Foster. Like you when JT Walsh, when it comes up in the credits at the open of the film, you go, oh, I know who he's playing. And this is almost the most JT Walsh of bits. Very much enjoyed my rewatch Negotiator. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Presumably you watched it on DVD because The Negotiator is only available on DVD.
I mean, the thing is,
it's never been released on any other format. Like The Negotiator, it's right up there with Twister. It's just a DVD.
Yeah. The Negotiator is.
We do have it on DVD a lot.
Yeah, it's when you watch on a streaming service, it plays the DVD trailers that you get with it.
You try and watch it on Amazon Prime, and a DVD arrives the next day.
Yeah.
I miss that so much about watching DVDs.
But the trailers.
Trailers, yeah.
This is DVD.
And then the last one I watched was an 80s like teen coming of age movie that I've never actually seen.
That doesn't sound real.
No, Mark, I know what you're going to say, and I remember seeing this in the pages of Video Weekly, and I've never seen it either.
Yeah.
I remember it being out, but I never saw it either.
So I watched Can't Buy Me Love, which stars.
Can't buy me love.
It's wonderful because that's how it starts, with that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shit, okay.
Yeah, so they got
licensed that.
they got
In
the
1970.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Michael
thinking.
Jackson got paid.
That's the budget gone then.
Yeah. It has Patrick Dempsey as, believe it or not, the geeky character.
Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah.
What, McDreamy?
McDreamy?
Plays the nerdy like character.
How convincingly though?
Really quite convincingly.
I don't buy that. McDreamy can't do nerdy.
Well, this is the thing. So the whole premise of the movie is that he's kind of like the nerdy character, and then he basically he mows lawns all summer to earn $1,000 to buy a telescope.
I love this film already.
And then ends up, instead of buying a telescope...
Say that again.
Slowly.
Right. Instead of buying a telescope,
Magnificent concept.
what he does instead, the hot cheerleader chick wears one of her mum's outfits to like a school fucking like a house party.
If I'm the studio exec right now, you're losing me, Mark. Come on, bring it
and
back.
gets red wine on it. Patrick Dempsey's character then ends up buying her a replacement suit so her mum never finds out, but on the proviso that she has to pretend to be dating him for a month because that will make him popular.
And the reason you like this film so much is that's exactly how you and Becky met.
Yes.
Can I just say, Don is in the room right now. Don, if I was to say that McDreamy in a film in the 80s played a geek, what would you say?
I can see that.
You could see that.
Yeah.
This is the last time you ever disagree with me. I want a divorce.
Just looking at
Sorry,
the images from
carry
the
on.
movie, though, he's obviously had a nose job at some point, and this is obviously before that.
I think he's just grown into his nose.
He looks like fucking Spicoli.
He does look at Scully. He does have a Penny vibe to himself within this. Yeah,
A what?
a Penny vibe.
Penny vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as well, his dad is played by Dennis Dugan.
Who dat?
Dennis Dugan, who went on to direct films like Grown Ups 2, Just Go With It, Jack and Jill. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Seth Green's in it.
Seth Green plays his little brother.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this sounds kind of
Like,
fun, actually.
really enjoyed it. And it survives on the sheer kind of charisma of Patrick Dempsey being really engaging to watch, both as the geeky character and then he becomes too popular and it goes to his head character.
Mm.
But yeah, 90 odd minutes, and just a really fun kind of 80s movie that I hadn't seen, and now I'm watching it going, I can't believe I hadn't fucking seen this. And we'll definitely rewatch at some point.
Disney Plus as well. How does it look?
Looks good.
Nice.
Yes.
Added to watch list.
Courtney Gaines plays his best mate in it. So there's that as well. It's
While you're
Very
on the
much
subject
enjoyed.
of cast as well, what did you think about Dancer uncredited?
She's good.
Paula Abdul.
It is. Paul Abdul did the choreography for it.
Right, okay. Makes sense.
Which when that comes out, you go, choreography, what? And then it makes sense later on in the movie. And it also makes sense that it was Paul Abdul.
Yeah.
I think it was 1987. Paula Abdul was just doing choreography for anything, even if stuff didn't need it. She was.
Yeah.
Have I dreamt it? Is there not a video where she dances with an animated cat or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the MC.
Opposites
it's
attract,
the MC,
yeah.
it's the MC
That's
cat
it.
on the Scats and Micah, and here's a little story, and you're sure to like it. It's swift and smart, and he's playing it cool with his homegirl, Paula Abdul.
You're so cool, Noel.
I know.
That's all the batshit shit I watched this week.
That was real entertaining, I'm not going to lie.
All right. I'm mindful of the time. Mark, Bex, do you guys want to eat anytime soon? And Noel, to be fair, I ate early, so.
Yeah, I did too, but yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, then, fine.
Are you answering for me?
Well,
Just fucking starving in a corner over here. No, I'm fine, honestly.
Okay,
Oh,
so
fuck you.
I'll try and I'll go as quick as I can. So I rewatched The Northman. The Northman will not be in my top 10 of the year. It went down slightly because I became a little bit. It's kind of talking about the folly of these men thinking they're great men, but also the end sequence is basically the end of God of War PlayStation 2, and you've got to press square to slice the guy's head off. So I'll be honest, with The Northman, I'm a little bit conflicted. It's either an art house film that's a bit too stupid or a stupid film that's a bit too art house. But I kind of love that it's doing both of those things.
Do you reckon it could be one of those where, depending on your mood, it could be either of those?
Yeah, a little bit, but it is a bit long to be stupid.
It's
so
2 hours like 25, isn't it?
yeah, but at the same time, it wants to show how cool he is, but also at the end, it's like you fucked off Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah, all right, you've got some offspring, but you're dead. Well done, bud. You're going to Valhalla. Cool, but you're not going to be with them anymore. I'm a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what Eggers' point was, and I almost feel like he had more of a point when it was like, this is a screenplay, and then he realised, holy shit, I've got to get money for this. He was like, but also we'll have 2 naked men fight against a volcano. So,
Yeah.
but I think it bangs, but I'm not going to be talking about it next week too much. Okay, so I rewatched Dunkirk, and I don't really know why, but I just stuck it on. And I really like Dunkirk. Dunkirk's really good. It's not one of Nolan's best, but it's because Nolan's a fantastic filmmaker.
I always think Dunkirk's that film where when you're watching it, you're going, this is really fucking good. And then, like, a few months removed from having watched it, you go, Dunkirk, it's good, but it's probably lesser Nolan. But then when you watch it, go, this is fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, 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 really good. And the fact that was a summer blockbuster is wild.
Yeah.
I will say it's a big projector bump watch, that film. I had a great time with it on projector watch.
And it looks great on the OLED,
Yeah.
and it looks great in 4K, and it's like, certainly, I'll be honest, the first time I watched it, I went to a 10 p.m. showing where I was tired, because I'm tired at 10, unlike Mark and Becky. So I made a mistake, and it's like, I feel like it's impacted me, but it's like Tenet has gone from a 4-star film to a 5-star film. Like, it's the Nolan film I like the most. I'm not saying it's his best film, but it's actually, people would say maybe Interstellar. I actually maybe
Tenet's better than Interstellar.
Yeah, I think maybe Tenet's better than. I think Tenet might be Nolan's best film. But so this is the thing. I'm arguing between, I don't know, Jennifer Lawrence and Anya Taylor-Joy at this point for me personally. So I don't know. This is Anya Taylor-Joy and Tenet is Jennifer Lawrence.
If I look at my letterboxd for Tenet and also Dunkirk, I scored Dunkirk higher, but as a film, I definitely think Tenet's a better film. Not a better film. The
More
film I like
film.
more. Yeah.
I don't know. That's where that delineation becomes complicated. But Nolan, he fucking rules. Bring on Oppenheimer. Still think it's gonna lose all the money, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Okay, so I watched La La Land, preparation for Babylon, rules. There you go. I love La La Land.
I really want to rewatch La La Land. I just need to get the time to rewatch it.
I kind of want to rewatch La La Land because I hated it when it came out.
The thing is, it's only about, I say only, it's 2.25 hours long. It's not 2 hours 40.
Yeah, that's it. I think my brain keeps thinking that it's like near 3 hours. And it's not.
And the thing is, it's interesting because Ryan Gosling, he's kind of a dick through it, but he's very charismatic, and in the third act, he does the defining thing which helps Emma Stone get to the place that she needs to be. And if he didn't do that, this film would be palpably worse. And there are sections where I could see people maybe switching off a little bit. Like, I could see that, but I don't. But I can understand why people would.
I think we said this when we reviewed it, like when it came out, though, that it's one of those where if it's got you, it's really going to get you. And if it's not, you're really not going to vibe with it.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's why I really want to rewatch it. I think I maybe watched it in the wrong mood, and I just wasn't in for the ride.
Yeah, fair. And it's the thing is, it was Damien Chazelle's second directorial film, and it's interesting because you see a lot of like indie directors making one film and then directing bigger things. Like Colin Trevorrow, he directed Safety Not Guaranteed, and he's doing Jurassic World, and it's like, wow, I mean, you look at Damien Chazelle, he did Whiplash, then he did La La Land, and the thing is, Trevorrow has gone from an indie film to a film that he has to work with actors and he has to work with big sets and whatnot, but he also probably has to work with a lot of visual effects artists saying, this is what this scene is going to look like.
Yeah.
Put the actors in this place. Get them to do these lines. La La Land, like, he had to stage like really, really big musical sequences, and he had to do big things where it's like two people against the visual effects background of them dancing amongst stars and things like that. And it's just like, the fact he won Best Director at the Oscars and obviously won lost Best Picture to Moonlight, as we all know. And but it's like, I get that in a way, because this was a film that was in the conversation. Is it the best directed film of 2016? I don't know. I haven't watched every film of 2016, but out of the films that were being talked about at that time, do I think that Chazelle deserved it? Yeah. Why? Because it was his second fucking film.
It's a very well directed movie.
Yeah, and it's the song. I've had a lot of beers, so I can't remember the name of the song. It's not because the song is unmemorable, but where they're sitting at that bench and a waste of a lovely night. And like the way that they start talking about how they're pissed off that they're together, and then they dance together and they do this like routine, but they're not holding hands, but they do this routine where they're just doing like step moves, and then after that it's like, right, I understand why they're together, not necessarily because of things that they've said, but I understand why they're attracted to each other, because they've done this little dance with each other. And then they do dances through the film that get you through these conversations where it is a little bit like the spark is coming, it is not quite there, and not because of their performances, but just because of how they're directed. But then in the dance, it's like, but you can see why they want to be with each other, despite the fact that they're really different people. It's a very, I don't know, it's quite an instinctive way of portraying attraction to people, which I think is very well done. But you've also got John Legend absolutely murdering Jazz. So and killing Ryan Gosling's spirit, and then in the end he's not a villain, he's just a guy trying to do a job, and Ryan Gosling just brushes him away in that sequence at the end where it's like what their life could have been. Yeah, I really, really like La La Land.
So much so you bought it for me. You bought this film for me, Ian, and I've still not watched it, and I'm sorry. I will.
I don't remember buying it for you. Was that in COVID
you
times?
You did. No. I think it was.
Oh, was it an iTunes?
I think it was your next pick for
Pay It Forward.
Pay It Forward.
No way.
You got ahead of the game, and you were like, no, you're going to watch this, and you sent it to me, and it's still sat on my iTunes, and I've still not watched it because you know how I feel about musicals. But I will, ahead of Babylon, I will definitely watch it.
I mean, if it helps to inspire you to watch it, Noel, at this point, I take it as a personal affront.
Well, that'll do it then. No, you'd convinced me with your words already. It's fine.
But I mean, it bangs. Oh, that's really good. And also, if it helps, the musical numbers basically stop about an hour in.
That definitely does help, actually. Funnily enough, yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, because you've got a few musical numbers, and then John Legend does a bit, and then Emma Stone does a bit about 15 minutes before the end, and then that's it. I would actually say the second half of the film has got 2 songs.
Honestly, I like the director, I like the actors involved. It's my own hang-ups about musicals that have stopped me from clicking. That's all it is. So I will 100% watch it before Babylon.
Good. The last one.
So excited.
Babylon, yeah, I'm excited. I'm also a little bit, oh God, is he just gone off the rails here? But let's see.
I want off the fucking rails.
It looks
I want off the rails but entertaining. Like that's the key thing. Okay, so my last one for this week is the reason why shite and sound is not happening. So this is the 2004 film Tropical Malady, directed by Apachatpong Weerasethakul. So, gonna give the letterbox description. The passionate relationship between two men with unusual consequences. The film is divided in two parts. The first half charts the modest attraction between two men in the sunny, relaxing countryside, and the second half charts the confusion and terror of an unknown menace lurking deep within the jungle shadows. So, this film is a film of two halves. The first half is a soldier meets a village boy. And that first hour or so is them having conversations interspersed with slices of life. So one of them's on a bus and he talks to the soldier boy. The soldier boy and the farmer boy take a dog to the vet where they're told that the dog has cancer and it should be operated on. And they're talking about that. And the vet's giving recommendations. They go to the cinema and they're watching stuff. And it kind of looks like one of them's trying to jerk the other off. Fair play. No, I don't blame you. But he's not. He's just rubbing his knee vigorously. And then just as you think something's going to happen, where in Tropical Malady, one of them starts kissing the other one's hand and it starts sucking his knuckles. One of them walks off into the distance and it cuts. And then the second half begins. And it's a fable about a soldier and a tiger spirit. And the soldier is trying to hunt the spirit. About 40 minutes in, after him hunting the spirit, the soldier is confronted by a monkey that talks to him, at which point my attention perked up, where the monkey tells him either you need to kill the spirit and let it free, or you need to let the tiger spirit consume you and you become one with the spirit.
Genuinely, when you mentioned that a monkey had turned up, I thought you were joking.
Nope.
Like when you messaged me to say, "Oh no, fucking monkey's turned up."
Nope. Yeah. There's a monkey, and he starts talking to the guy. So I gave it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, only because the first half is like, this is a slice of life that I don't necessarily get to see, like life in Thailand. And in the unpublished Shite or Sound, I compare it to a James Bond film where it's like you are globetrotting and seeing how other communities live. And that's how I went into this. I went into this with the spirit of me watching Thunderball. No. So the second half, I'm basically, is something going to happen? I'm intrigued as to what the fuck is going to happen. And every now and then, there's an interesting image. For an hour, every now and then, there's an interesting image. So, what I'm going to say might be a little bit controversial. The Sight and Sound top 100 films may not be 100 films I want to see. I don't necessarily want to watch these films that folks who have voted in the Sight and Sound top 100 think are the best films. And I'm going to release myself from that obligation that I need to see these films because then maybe I'd be a better film fan. No. If anything, if I watched 100 films like Tropical Malady, I'd like films less. And that's not because they're shit, but because I thought they were fine. I could see what it was going for. Cool. BFI have rated it as one of the top 10 most important LGBTQ plus films of all time. That's brilliant. I'm in my late 30s. I am hopefully halfway through my life. And the second half of my life, I think I probably need the films that I do watch. I think I probably need to go into the perspective of I'm going to enjoy, not I'm going to learn. And that's not because I don't want to learn. It's because if I'm watching films, it's because I'm not in a mindset where I'm like, I'm going to learn for 2 hours.
Can I just say two things, Ian?
Please.
The first thing is I appreciate, first of all, the energy that you've put into potentially doing this series, but also the energy that you've put into learning the director's name. And it gives me a great deal of relief that it wasn't Mark that decided to do this.
Yeah, good
Because
point.
he would have butchered that. But apart from that, the other thing I'd say is, on a slightly more serious point, the point that you make about these are films that have been listed that you have now realised you don't necessarily feel like you want to see. I would argue that they are films that the people who wrote the list don't necessarily want you to see either, because the more people that see them, the less clever they will look.
Yeah, 100%.
So good job on making the fucking effort, but like I think you're absolutely right. Like life, as Becky said, life is too short for shit movies. You're not in this to fucking prove anything to anyone. You're not necessarily in this to learn anything. Watch the movies you want to watch.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. We are to an extent paid for what we do on this show, but being blunt, I would earn more in a month than I do than we get from the patronage of this show if I did an hour of overtime at work. So that's all to say that if I'm going to do Patreon content, it's going to be stuff I actually actively want to do, not a challenge for myself.
Which I think our patrons are fine with.
Which I think is probably understandable. Yeah.
Well, that's it. As a listener, I enjoy hearing what you care about and hear what you're passionate about. I listen to this podcast because you all have very different. There's crossover taste, obviously, but you all have a very different angle. And I know when you are about to talk about something, as I mentioned with Mark earlier, like I know when you're about to talk about something that you really care about and you've watched it because you really want to watch it. Mark isn't watching I Can't Buy Me Love because the fucking BFI are telling him to watch it. Do you know what I mean? He's watching it because he's like, oh, this fits in my mental genre.
No. I'm just gonna correct you for a second. Apachapong Weersafakal reached out to him in his DMs and said, "I've heard your podcast and I think you'd like this."
And he said, "What's your name again? Apple Chumbo Flingleflom."
It's like, but no, that's
Probably
perfect.
cancelable.
It's like he
That is definitely what Mark would say.
you really made an effort in the first name and then just gave up in the second, which is what Mark would do.
Apple Chat what?
It is though.
Oh, dear.
Oh shit! I mean, that's it for my what we watched.
The fact that everyone's making fun of you and you're just like, yeah, I deserve it. They're not wrong.
The dog is looking up with me with the waggiest tail I've maybe ever seen. Like, in terms of, are you dying? What's going on? Sorry. Fuck.
Look, nobody wants death by vegetables. You don't want it. I guess probably your listeners don't want it either. So
Jordan does.
Oh well, Jordan fucking lives for vegetables, doesn't he?
Jordan can pay me $10 a week and I'll do it just for him.
Send him the audio file, just him.
I'll just send him the audio
Yeah.
file. There you go, Jordan. That's a very special tier. Mark,
He'll correct you on the pronunciation of the name, though.
it's how Kermode pronounces it. So it's probably wrong. Mark.
Yes. Questions. We have one. Babylon promises, I think it's from Rick Kidd, at Rick J. Kidd.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rick. Babylon promises us a coked-up Margot Robbie fighting a snake. Who do you want to see fight which other animal?
Fucking hell.
Werner Herzog fighting a bee.
Oh, I was going to go with Werner Herzog fighting David Lynch.
What?
They're both mammals.
That's not an animal.
They're both animals. They're all animals.
That would be a weird fight.
I'd love it.
I can't fight the bee. The bee is a mysterious creature who faces death every day. I must die to the bee. Thankfully, I am allergic to the bee. I think of Macaulay Culkin at the end of My Girl, and I think this is the way that I must go. I want to see the baby.
I've got one.
Go on.
I want to see Rooney Mara fighting a deer.
Oh, that's good.
It'll take ages. Imagine
It
the
would.
stare down.
Oh, I've actually got one.
Go on.
I want to see Dwayne The Rock Johnson fighting a kangaroo because he would just get the absolute shit beaten out of him.
And he'd try and style the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Going back to Rooney Mara and the deer,
Yeah,
the thing
go on.
is, it would take 5 hours of staring.
Oh, there'd be
And then
so much staring.
But then one of them would kill the other in 2 seconds straight, but you honestly couldn't tell which
No.
one.
Yeah, you
Couldn't
call it.
call it. Could not call that.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
There'd be a lot of air twitching.
I saw a picture of a kangaroo stood up the other day and it was buff as fuck and it really freaked me out.
They are.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Don't say this. I'm going to Australia next year, man. I'm already worried enough.
Don't put your hand in a kangaroo's pouch. Apparently it's slimy. It's filled with like a mucus-like substance.
Becky, I can assure you the last thing that I have a list of things that I'm not going to do in Australia, and that's on it.
Koala bears have chlamydia. Stay away from those guys.
They do.
The thing is, the Rock.
Imagine now Noel just getting off the plane
With his
after
legs.
doping himself up so he can actually fucking get there, and then there's a fucking kangaroo there, and he just goes, "Hey, I'm gonna put my hands in your pouch."
That's it. The thing now, Becky said it. I might be a little bit like,
But how slimy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The thing is, the Rock. He'd lose the fight to the kangaroo. He put a
But
video.
then he'd go
on
online and talk about how much money the fight made.
And how
No.
tequila
What?
helped with his bruises.
No, I was thinking what it would be is he'd be like, guys, so kangaroos are majestic creatures and they're very, very strong, very, very powerful, but they have a lower center of gravity, and it's an unfair fight with humans because of that. They have uppercut strength that it's just incredibly powerful, and I respect it so much. But if that kangaroo was a human, it would not have beaten me. If I was a kangaroo, I would have beaten it. So
Yeah, but Dwayne,
Edit
like
to add,
Dwayne.
all my life I have wanted to be beaten up by a kangaroo.
yeah.
Also, Dwayne, like 2 weeks ago, you were saying that the whole universe of the marsupial world was about to change. So
No. But if no, you misunderstand. If we were playing it on the other hemisphere, when I recorded that video and said that the marsupial universe was about to change, then I would have won because the center of gravity would have been the other way around. So I didn't think about that. No, I can't admit that I didn't think about that.
No, you can't, no.
Oh fuck.
Focus group.
I was discussing this with Adam the other day because does anybody feel like maybe Fast 10 is coming next, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's already
I
kind of.
thought you were still
happened,
doing
isn't
The
it?
Rock. Sorry.
No, I'm coming back to
serious now. Yeah.
No,
okay.
I'm coming back to The Rock, right? So Fast 10 is happening next. That's not the last one, is it?
It's Fast 10 Part 1.
Yeah,
Right.
it's split into 2 parts.
Fuck me, I hope they
Dwayne's coming
it?
back.
Oh,
Dwayne's coming back for part 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
At this point, you'd think
He is,
so.
isn't it?
And I hope
Like,
Uncle
he is.
Vin is like, fuck you.
Yeah,
No.
no, but I don't think Uncle Bill. I think that's going to happen. I think
Oh, Uncle Vin will have him back.
his ego, Dwayne's ego, is so bruised at this point. I think that door just creaked open.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get part 2, Dwayne's back.
Yeah,
because that will massage his ego again.
Yeah, you know that at some point last week he texted Vin Diesel and just said, "Bro."
Yeah, that was it. Just
Yeah,
bro.
just that's
Full
it.
stop.
Just bro. Just ...
And Vin texted back, "Go on, family." There it is.
And that was all they needed.
Contract. And since then, contracts have been signed. It's all done.
I legitimately will be disappointed in Uncle Vin if that happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
The
no,
Rock, so badly was just like, it's not happening. It's
No,
not happening.
but the thing is, Vin was the last one to reach out. I think it feels kind of nailed on to me that.
Yeah.
Gross.
It kind of does, and I get it, but
It's not necessary.
Man,
It's completely
no.
unnecessary for everybody involved. The only person it benefits is Dwayne Johnson, I think.
They need to start with like For Your Eyes Only, where Kevin McClory had the rights to Spectre and Blofeld and whatnot. So at the start of For Your Eyes Only, Bond literally drops an unidentified bald man down a chimney. And it's just like, there we are. That's what we need. Yeah. We need the start of Fast 10 being the bad guy of Fast 10
an unidentified bald
dropping
guy.
an unidentified rock down a chimney. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think Dwayne just needs to take a step back and just maybe like remember where he came from. Maybe take some roles where he's just credited as actor.
And this is yes, but this
unidentified
is
dancer.
Yeah.
No, but this is the thing. What he needs to do now,
Joe,
is
team member,
fuck off, do some roles, and do fuck all publicity about how humble he is. But he won't be able to do that.
No, we are still talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson here.
Yeah, but
the people's eyebrow.
That's it. It's going to be impossible for him.
Yeah.
But he needs to show some sort of humility by just not talking and just acting and talking about that specific role. And he won't be able to do it.
And I think the extent of Dwayne Johnson's humility, the best case scenario, the extent of Dwayne The Rock Johnson's humility is to agree to be in a $500 million final movie in the Fast franchise. That's as far as his humility will go, and I think even that's a stretch for him.
Yeah, I like the Fast franchise. I don't want him in there dirtying it up in the last one.
I don't think we need it. I do not think we need it.
No,
don't think it benefits anyone.
He's going to go back to WWE for a bit.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Really?
do some guest appearances.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's what he's gonna do. Humility to The Rock is, I'm gonna go back to WWE.
Back to his roots. He'll say roots. He's gonna say roots a lot.
Roots, 100%.
Yeah.
Roots, and then we'll see what he comes back with. But yeah, 100%. That's what.
My whole entire life, even when I was a kid, I dreamed of being in the W. Oh no, shit! I already did. Sorry, no, that was a different script.
I dreamed of playing Rampage. Oh fuck. I dreamed of drinking tequila.
What I meant to say was the whole hierarchy of WWE is about to change. That was it, wasn't it? Is that what we agreed? Drink tequila, guys.
I hope that kangaroo really fucks him up.
That was episode what the fuck ever of Film Bastards. Next week, we're talking about Babylon. I just want to say at this point, thank you ever so much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much, Becky.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you ever so much, Noel, you beautiful son of a bitch.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Noel.
you so much. That was so much fun. I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yep, more than welcome anytime you want.
And listener, if you listened all the way through, kumquat.